on the Keeler Show today.
It's time to read the news and weather. Time to figure out what to say. It's time to turn the channel of the Keeler Show today. Why do we always listen? Keeler's always in the know. It makes me want to call him and tell him where to go. And now let's get things started. Andrew, let's get things started.
It's time to get things started.
On the most sensational, inspirational, celebrational, Keelerational. This is what we call the Keeler Show.
WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM. This is Keeler.
Well, good morning. It's heading into a big weekend.
Yeah. I'm going to
Heading
be
into a big weekend.
panicked tomorrow afternoon.
So, let's see. Tomorrow, of course, the Packers. That's huge. Davey, if you notice, we added a little something to the decor. They're going to rip everything out of here anyway.
I like it.
If the Bills don't do well, because I super glued it, so nobody would take it. It can't be removed from here. It's a Buffalo Bills. Looks like a bottle cap. My son got it for me for Christmas.
I like it.
Yeah, I've never done anything like that before. Like people. I don't want you to think it's maybe it's going to be the
Get him a gift. It may end up in a dumpster.
It could be the jinx. It could be the jinx right here.
Oh. Sometimes I've had, I'll never forget this. This was back when Green Bay won the Super Bowl in 2011, following the 2010 season. And for a Christmas gift, I got a Greg Jennings jersey. And I wore that jersey every day after Christmas, right on through the Super Bowl. Not every day, as in I didn't take it off.
Stunk, probably stunk.
No. But every game following that Christmas Eve, I wore it.
You were doing the superstition thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Our family is very superstitious when it comes.
I
got to
tell you something that I find interesting. There is a rating that they do on quarterbacks, and it's been done for years. And one of the things where Josh Allen gets in trouble is all of his. I was going over this with my son yesterday. All of the interceptions. He has a lot of interceptions, and he gets a lot of criticism for that.
Correct.
So, but what my son was saying is a guy went back and reworked the methodology. And there were areas that were not given any credit. So, for instance, Davey, Josh he's got the ball on the 30-yard line or the 45-yard line or something. I don't know.
Okay.
It's third down. It's third and long. And he throws the ball into the end zone, interception.
Which he's done numerous occasions.
Which has happened numerous occasions. And what this guy said is that the analytics that are used doesn't take that into account. It counts as the same penalty, interception penalty, as every other time there's an interception.
Yeah, that's not right.
Versus when you're driving and you're in the red zone and you're about ready to score and you throw an interception. That's something you almost never see Josh Allen do.
You're right.
In fact, almost all of his interceptions this season, while there have been plenty, have been no harm interceptions.
Or when he's been under pressure.
That's the other part of this. The other part that it didn't show is that are they losing? And does the quarterback need, and this is not just Josh Allen in particular, any quarterback, are they down? The quarterback is in a desperate situation. You've got 2 touchdowns to make up and there's 3 minutes left. Throws an interception. Should that interception be counted as the same penalizing interception as one that's made when the team is ahead, or the defense isn't failing you. All of these elements completely change the way a quarterback will throw the ball and will risk interception. And that's totally Josh Allen. So when he was done working on the analytics, it clearly makes Josh Allen the number one quarterback in the NFL right now.
I will give
by far.
I will give you the perfect example of why that's true. Okay, 4th down and long from the 35. I think they were playing Miami. If you turn it over on downs, whether it be an incomplete pass or something happens where there's a sack for a loss, you're giving them the ball back in their own territory at around the 35. Josh Allen throws an interception in the end zone. Miami gets the ball at the 20 or the 25.
Or in one case, they tried to run it out, and they got it at like the 9.
Yeah.
So, the other part of this is...
So you're giving them better field position or worse field position.
You have one of the best punters in the NFL. The Bills have, who unfortunately is now probably going to be out this weekend.
Yeah, they signed a punter from 2021.
Yeah. So, but here's the other part of this. If you punt the ball away, what do you get? Well, if you punt the ball away, they're gonna either return it or get it on the 25-yard line.
Yeah.
But if you throw your Hail Mary pass into the end zone, you're either going to catch it and score, or you're going to get an interception. They're going to get it it'll be the same effect as a punt.
Yeah.
So, but that interception counts against the quarterback statistics at the same level as a very, very bad interception or turnover would be.
Like Dak Prescott on Sunday.
Correct.
Or Joe Flacco on Saturday.
But isn't that interesting when you see them all going after Josh Allen about the interceptions? Now go back and look at every interception. It'll be very seldom you're going to see a damaging interception by Josh Allen. It's very interesting to look at. Check it out. It's I'm trying to find the post. As soon as I get it, I'll post it so everybody can take a look at it. But and this is not just for Josh Allen, it's for any quarterback. It's the way you really should rate your quarterbacks. Anyway, my point is you would think the Kansas City Chiefs are playing the Kansas City Chiefs this weekend, because every single story out there, as I was going through stories early this morning, seems to be about Patrick Mahomes.
Oh.
I mean, I am just, and there is a truth. I was talking to a friend, Tony, last night, all up in arms about the way quarterbacks are able to get away with things today. Mm-hmm. You go into a slide, and the defender is coming after you. Well, they just touch you, and all of a sudden it's right, and all of a sudden it's roughing the passer. But the big gripe is Mahomes.
He's the new Tom Brady.
Stands up, starts yelling at the referee, and the referee throws a flag. You're like, oh, they got Mahomes for unsportsmanlike conduct. No, they just called the penalty Mahomes wanted them to call. And guess who the ref crew is this weekend, Davey, for the game?
The Philadelphia Eagles crew?
The son of, what's his name?
Hockley.
Hockley. And listen, that Eagles game was horrific. He better be very careful, because I'm going to tell you something. That Bills Mafia is coming out of the stands. They'll come out of this. They'll just throw snow on him. There's a lot of snow. The other thing, Taylor Swift, is she coming? I think she is. And also,
hold on. We got sound from Patrick Mahomes at the press conference.
Oh, there's Mahomes crying like a baby. Also, Taylor Swift coming, but so is
Josh Allen's girlfriend.
So is Kelsey. The other Kelsey, the brother.
Oh, Jason?
Jason Kelsey thinks he's going to come as well. What else did I read this morning that I thought was kind of interesting?
Haley Steinfeld. We never got into this.
And let me tell you, Josh Allen's girlfriend is beautiful. And it completely shocked me when I found out who she was. My wife and I watched like 3 seasons of Dickens. And Dickinson, right? Emily Dickinson. Yeah. She played Emily Dickinson in the series, which is kind of a unique series. So apparently Josh Allen's into poetry.
Apparently, yeah.
And she...
he's probably in more than poetry.
While she looked much different in that series, she is very beautiful.
So I did
very popular.
A deep dive into her IMDb page, which is like the International Movie Database website.
Sure.
Don't want you to think it was anything else. And
I think we know. I think we know what that.
Just
page
making
is.
sure. Some people don't know.
Fair enough.
For people who are big fans of Western movies, she actually played the young girl way back when in the True Grit. When
I saw that.
What's his name there? I can't think of his name now. He who played the what the heck's that?
That's Davey. You got to be careful because your mic's up, Davey. All right.
The guy who played the Big Lebowski there.
Yeah, whatever.
Anyway, he was in the remake of True Grit, and
she's been in a lot of stuff. She's popular with adults and with teens as well, and apparently very popular with Josh Allen. Pretty good. Hey, Bill, sorry, but I have to go with Patty Mahomes. Sorry, Davey. Green Bay all the way, however.
Wow. Who's that saying
listen,
that?
I'm just going to tell you right now. Anything that's John and Bridgewater.
Oh, Johnny.
Anything could happen this weekend, and as a Bills fan, I would not by any means be shocked if we were in misery on Monday morning. So, John, you may be right.
Here's the thing too about the 2 1 seeds. Now, of course, it's always good to have the 1 seed because you have the bye week, but that could also be a huge detriment. You've got the Texans have to play the Ravens have to play the Texans. That performance by C.J. Stroud and that defense was just unbelievable. So that extra rest time for the Ravens, they better be careful of that. And San Fran sat most of their starters in Week 18. Then they had the bye week. So, it's a game of momentum. It's a game of who's playing, well at the right time, and that's what I'm optimistic about.
We'll see what happens. The Bills and Packers are both at the peak of their season right now. Let's see if it continues.
It is a Packers-Bills Super Bowl because my future father-in-law has already brought this up.
I'm going to tell you.
And my fiancé is a Bills fan. I may have to watch the game somewhere else.
I'm going to tell you. It's going to be big. Mike this morning says, Josh Allen is not into poetry. He's actually into the poet, if you will.
Oh, yeah.
I
get what
you're absolutely right. Mike also, so they're going to have to use a crowbar to get that Bills bottle cap off when they put your stuff in the box after they fire you. Yeah, you're absolutely right. They might even use it as a platter to take my things on.
Carry their stuff out.
Yeah. It's funny because the engineer was in here, and Davey, you were here for this, and Andrew, I think you were here for part of it. The engineer was in looking around the studio, and he's like, all right, we're going to do this. We're going to rip this out, put new furniture here. We're going to do, and he's like, you have way too much of your personal stuff in this studio.
What does that mean? What are you trying to say, guy?
I don't know. It could mean, Davey, it could mean the end is near. I thought 11 years was odd. Being here for 11 years, that's odd. 10 would be a normal firing. Technically, it's 10, and we're into our 11th.
Did he, count an inventory of stuff that was yours before he left?
No, but I did after he left.
Started clearing it out.
I wrote everything down. I'm like, I better know what I have. And your theory in regards to Josh Allen and interceptions is a good one. It's much more like analytics that are used in baseball now as opposed to the old statistics that they use. That's absolutely correct. The analytics, if you will, and what they were used and what they use currently to look at quarterbacks is the old, it's been this way since the 60s.
Yeah.
So you really do need to, think about it. An interception is not necessarily always a horrible thing, right?
I agree.
So, and then, you're going to punt it away, or you're going to give your quarterback with this monster arm the chance to put it into the end zone, and, oh, by the way, you got a 50-50 shot of scoring a touchdown right there. Now, the key is don't let them run it back. That is very important because we've certainly seen plenty of that. And then Greeley this morning, pray for this Monday morning, Kansas City Chiefs eliminated.
Yeah.
And a picture in a hoodie of a very sad Patrick Mahomes. In fact, the Bills fans, Bills organization on its own, is a little worried about the Bills Mafia and has already sent out some warnings to be careful how you raise, if you will,
behave.
Taylor Swift. The general thought is, let's not go too far because the big meme in Buffalo this morning is, come on in, let's make her cry.
Oh,
so yeah, they're talking about making Taylor Swift.
Let's
cry.
be honest. She's going to have 4 of the biggest, largest security guards.
She will, and
carrying her into the, or
plus
bringing her into the building.
Kelsey's mother, who probably could beat anybody up.
Yeah, right.
You've seen her in the commercials, and then and then the Kelsey brother. I mean, I think she'll be just fine. Davey, you want to comment?
No, I don't.
That's it.
Well,
he's a hater of Taylor Swift.
Yeah,
I like Taylor Swift, but the other Kelsey brother don't get along with her.
Okay. Oh, he don't.
Yeah.
All right.
John and Bridgewater are saying also watch out for the Lions, which that could be a reality too. I think they'll have an easy time with Tampa Bay.
John had said he's away from football. He's not watching any football, but it seems like John is back. He's got some knowledge out there.
Yeah, John, what's up with that?
All right, let's see. What else do I have? We'll have Willie Waffle coming up in a second. Andrew said there's a lot to get to. Yes. The Pioneers game, by the way, today, which is scheduled at the Nexus Center, has been moved to Sunday. People asking why. Well, this storm has hit to the south, and there is a lot of snow, and I think they're struggling with that storm getting up from PA, and my guess is they'll be here for the game 6 o'clock now at the Adirondack Bank Center on Saturday, and then they'll play at Nexus on Sunday at noon.
Yeah, so I don't know. How bad is this storm we're supposed to get?
We're not going to get it. It's going to the remember when we talk about all week long how this thing could go to the south? It's really hitting them today and overnight and into tonight. And the storm has gone to the south.
So it's impacting the team that they're going to be playing.
Correct, which I think is from Pennsylvania. Lebanon Valley? I could be wrong.
I am very excited, by the way, about our 8:15 guest.
All right, I want to get in.
Paul Buckley.
I have a lot to get into here. County Executive Picente coming up. We're going to get to him. I want to talk about New York State budget. And have we reached crisis mode now? 2 underage young males shot and killed in Utica since the first of the year. We'll ask that question also of Lieutenant Mike Curley from UPD. Shannon Patterson is on with the organization called SNUG. Spell it backwards, it's guns. It's an organization that is working to try to get into the minds and hearts, the hearts and minds of these young kids to try to stop and squelch this teen violence that's underway. Bob Schrader will give us an update on that Herkimer water problem in the meeting from the other night. He is a legislator with Herkimer County. I mentioned Willie in a few minutes. We'll talk about the movies and streaming and whatever it is you're watching for the weekend. And as Andrew said, very excited about Paul Buckley coming in with his brother Steven, who
he is the man.
Steven is an animator in Hollywood. Not everybody knows this, but has worked on several movies.
Huge movies.
We're talking blockbusters. This is a big deal. He will be in studio with us here this morning. I don't know if he's in town because of the movie that's filming here right now. And I also don't know if you saw, but they were doing scenes at the Stanley. There's some cool pictures in the Rome Sentinel. In the Sentinel, of this over at the Stanley, and they were using a big green screen to create scenes from around the world in this movie.
It's a certified soundstage, right?
Correct. So they were utilizing the Stanley on Wednesday, and this movie's going to be a big deal. I mean, you got Chevy Chase back here.
Brian Doyle Murray.
Murray is involved. The brother-in-law, what's his name? Crazy man.
Randy Quaid.
Randy Quaid. He's involved. I mean,
Cousin Eddie.
This is going to be pretty interesting to watch, even though their roles are probably a little smaller in the movie. It adds a great deal of credibility to this movie, all being filmed here in Utica. So we have a bunch to get to here on this Friday morning, and of course, football action this weekend. So I got to say,
are we going to hear from Scott in Kirkville at all? Is he calling in?
I can get a hold of him if you want me to.
Yeah, try to grab him. I'd like to get him at some point here this morning. Also, I want to tell you that coming up here, a few things I want to talk to Willie about in terms of streaming. And there is this movie with, what's his name, about Richard Simmons.
Yes. I got
Pauly Shore.
Yeah.
And apparently Richard Simmons, who no one has seen in forever, is apparently all angry over the movie, and he's like, "Listen, it's going to be a good movie," says Pauly Shore. Very interesting.
What if
we will see.
What if it came out that he was like, actually, the movie about me was that movie The Whale, because he have all of a sudden got enormous.
Reba McEntire will be, Davey,
singing the national anthem at Super Bowl.
Yeah, she's going to be
Really?
singing the national anthem.
Wow.
At the Super Bowl. Boy, she's had a huge resurgence since she's back on
The Voice.
On The Voice. Not back on The Voice, but that she's back on TV.
As the Metro source says, Reba McGuire.
Is that what the news service says? Yeah. Reba McEntire will be singing the national anthem. That's pretty cool.
Post Malone singing America the Beautiful.
Do I have a moment to, if I could, had a conversation yesterday with Chuck Sedella at Daylight Donuts, the official coffee of the Keeler in the Morning radio program is Daylight Donuts in New Hartford. And one of the things they have that is amazing, along with everything they have, their donuts are made fresh there every day. If you're lucky enough to be there in the morning when they do the glazed, the hot glazed, oh, Lord.
Oh, boy.
Man, oh, man, you'll say goodbye to your diet. Anyway, and, of course, the drive-thru is lightning fast. You're in, you're out, you're on your way. It's all good stuff. But I asked, I thought it was interesting, what is, and do we know the answer to this? I think I can give it like a minute and a half. What is espresso? So it's something, I got to say, it's something that I drink every day in order to stay alive, in order to stay awake, in order to stay out of bed, in order to stay on the road, et cetera, et cetera. So, espresso comes in, of course, if you don't have a cup of coffee, you don't have a cup of espresso. Although I do. You have a shot of espresso.
Right.
And you'll go to Daylight and say, listen, I'd like a double shot of espresso. So what actually is espresso? Is there an espresso bean?
I think that's got to be it.
And that's not it.
It's not.
Basically what it is espresso is higher in caffeine. An 8-ounce cup of regular coffee contains about 96 milligrams of caffeine, while a 1-ounce shot of espresso has about 63 milligrams. So it's almost the same amount of one shot is almost the same amount as an entire cup of coffee, almost. So normally you get a double shot of espresso. I like a quad, which would be 4 shots of espresso. You can do it on its own. You can add a little sweetener if you'd like. You can add a little cream.
No.
Some people will place a little lemon peel in there,
That's nice.
et cetera. There's a lot of things you can do. There's a way to actually throw a little butter in there, believe it or not, for people on the keto diet. Anyway, the difference between coffee and espresso is not the bean. The difference is the pressure. It is when they grind the bean, they grind it much finer for espresso, and then it is packed much tighter.
Yeah, they use that little mallet thing.
It is used under when it is brewed under pressure. So espresso beans are simply finely ground coffee beans. It has a bolder taste and a frothy creme, if you will, a cream on top. And, of course, it goes right, it jacks you. You get jacked right up. Now, the Americano is made with espresso. Cappuccino made with espresso. Nothing like the espresso martini, which is delicious. That's just simply a martini with vodka, espresso, and then there's a little coffee liqueur you put in there. And it's a cocktail that'll make you a bit awake. The latte made from espresso, the macchiato from espresso, and the mocha all made from espresso.
My go-to now, I drink my coffee black, and it's at a point now where if I'm getting a regular coffee, I have to add the shot of espresso. That's my order.
That's a good
regular coffee with a shot of espresso.
You're getting a jack.
Or a red eye, as it's
You're
known.
getting it jacked. There's no doubt. And then one other item in speaking with Chuck. At Daylight Donuts, he said, it's very important, and not everybody does it. And you'll find places that don't do it properly. When you ask for an iced coffee, make sure they're not brewing the coffee fresh and making your iced coffee. And why is that?
Because it's not right.
Well, that's a wonderful answer.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
Well, no, because
and technically you're correct, but here's the reason. Iced coffee with hot coffee poured over it,
Well, melt the ice.
The ice melts, and it makes for a watery.
Yeah, that's what I meant. That's what I meant. You didn't get that?
I knew exactly what you meant. You brew your coffee first. You make sure it's ice cold from the fridge, and then you pour that over the ice, and there you have your iced coffee.
Well, that's why.
Davey, did we not learn something here today?
I learned something, and I don't even drink coffee.
From Chuck Sedella. Thank you, Chuck, from Daylight Donuts. Can I keep moving because...
Is Willie on?
Willie's here.
Then move on.
Ladies and gentlemen, here he is, the man when it comes to entertainment, streaming, movies, etc., etc.
How do you take your coffee, Willie?
Here he is, Willie Waffle. Good morning.
Good morning, and I do not drink coffee. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm mainline and Diet Wild Cherry Pepsi to get the caffeine, okay?
Yeah, that's right. You're not anti-caffeine necessarily.
Yeah, I'm not anti. Matter of fact, I'm very pro-caffeine.
Yeah.
I just never got into coffee.
So I am the same way. I use it strategically to keep me awake. That's the only reason. And I will tell you, espresso will jack you up. Like, you can feel it. If you have a quad or even the Octi, which is 2 quads. I mean, you do an Octi, you do 8 shots of espresso. It's probably bordering dangerous at that point. You got a lot of caffeine in you.
You might be awake for a week.
You might never sleep again, or you might be heading yourself into a permanent sleep. So beware. All right, Willie. Let's see. There is so much out there to get to. Where do you want to start?
I want to start with a story that came out yesterday that we haven't had a chance to talk about or kind of really think about. But this, to me, is the greatest story of the week. As you might know, the Sundance Film Festival is taking place out in Utah right now. And there's going to be a movie premiere that's going to rock the world. It is a Richard Simmons biopic starring Pauly Shore as Richard Simmons.
We were just talking about the fact that
really?
Well, the fact that Richard Simmons is all upset and he's come out of
angry.
He's come out of darkness to actually respond and
he's
say
done it in the form of a Facebook post. Let's be honest.
He's angry. Yeah.
That's right. And I love it. He's like, I did not give my permission for this movie. Well, that's good to know. That's good to know. But I think this could go one of two ways. Either Pauly Shore is so bad that you're going to want to see the movie just to say that you have seen one of the worst movies in the history of the world, or he's going to win an Oscar. He's going to show people that underneath all of that ridiculousness that we put up with for years was the heart of a thespian.
Well, that's not the first time that's happened. I mean, Let's be honest. Bosom buddies, really? Tom Hanks, right?
Bill Murray.
Yeah, I mean there are others out there, obviously. Bill Murray's another great example. I mean, you think these people are buffoons, yet reality is they're awesome actors.
And I was just joking around, Willie, because what I had said was, what if, because nobody's really seen Richard Simmons, what if it comes out that, he's actually the inspiration for the movie The Whale, and he's actually blown up and gained all this weight. And, Brendan Fraser is the perfect example. Everybody thought he was a buffoon most of his career, and that was a stellar performance.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely fantastic. And matter of fact, for years, that was one of the rumors. One of the rumors was that Richard Simmons had just, he had gained weight and he didn't want to be seen in public because he was known as this fitness guru for years and years and years. I can't remember if it was confirmed or not. He has knee problems.
Yeah.
That was one of the reasons why he didn't want to be out in public. I mean, it really has been a wild story for a guy who just decided he wanted to retire. I mean, that's what really gets me. I mean, all these crazy stories that he was somehow being held against his will and being controlled by people. He got old and he retired.
Yeah.
Good for him. I pray for the day where I could just do nothing all day long.
Yeah, like a see ya moment. Like, see ya, I'm done.
Exactly. But he was such a larger-than-life person, so it's hard for people to just accept, I think, that he's done.
Well, part of it also is the reaction that he was giving. So his reaction to the media reports got everybody going. And the minute you taste a little blood in the water, the sharks are coming. So that's exactly what kind of happened there. So, okay, that's going to be very interesting. Thought that was interesting. Then we learned Josh Allen, big weekend for Josh Allen. We learned Josh Allen has a girlfriend, and who is she? But she is pretty popular on her own, as long as we've been talking all about Taylor Swift. And I got to say, the series on Emily Dickinson that she was the star in, and she played Emily Dickinson, that my wife and I watched that series. It was so unique because it was taking, the classic right out into the 1800s, and it was taking it, but it had modern scripting and modern music, and it really was very interesting. But she starred in that series. I never knew.
That's right, Haley Steinfeld, who I think most people remember from the True Grit remake with
we were
Matt
talking
Damon
about them.
a few years ago. Yeah, and this this is the funny thing. This has kind of been going on a while. I first kind of read about it in the gossip pages like over the summer. That Josh Allen and Haley Steinfeld were seeing each other, and they didn't want any kind of the public attention and all the things that go along with modern celebrity romance, which is quite the opposite of what we're seeing with Taylor and Travis.
Right.
So that has always been kind of interesting, and I keep waiting for her to show up to a Buffalo Bills game. If you're to believe that they've been dating as long as they have, it's just time to come out, man. Just let the world know. Yeah, we're dating, we're in love, and we'll see you later.
Well, she may have I think she's friends with Taylor Swift. So.
Well, they were.
They used to be closer.
10 years ago, they were closer, and but it's not like they don't know each other. But here's the thing about her, Willie. She may very well have been at a game. But if you want to go to a Bills game and you're the quarterback's girlfriend, and you want to go and say, I do not want any publicity, would the Buffalo Bills make that happen?
Yes.
And the answer to that is yes. They absolutely would. Yeah. And, in fact, she's the type of actress who's beautiful, yet she could put a hoodie on, put a Bills hat on, bundle up a little bit. You would not know. You should just be somebody else.
Unless you were like a huge Haley Steinfeld fan.
Yeah, that's right.
Like you were obsessed or whatever.
Okay, I have so many questions, Willie. It's driving me nuts here. NFL playoff game streamed the other night on Peacock. Everybody complained. Everybody said it was stupid. Guess what? It's the model for the future, I'm afraid.
Yeah, it is. They set a number of records with that game between the Chiefs and the Dolphins on Saturday night last week. It was the biggest streamed event ever with 23 million viewers. And here's the stat that blew my mind. It accounted for 30% of internet usage on Saturday night.
That's unbelievable.
That's shocking.
In fact, I think I read one stat, Willie, and maybe I misread it, but I think the stat was also it made for the most streamed day in history.
Yeah, probably. If you had the most streamed event, it's probably the most streamed day, too. Yeah,
that's right. You think about it. Of all the normal streaming that goes on, you take this big event, and it made it the most ever streamed day in history. So, if we're all thinking, hey, this was terrible, they were criticized. Yeah, right as people were criticizing, they were hitting the confirm button to buy the network.
Myself included. I had just canceled it, right? I had canceled it.
And you went back.
And I went back.
You went back to it. Okay.
But here's the funny thing. I want to just throw this out there real quick. There's a lot of people now who have Peacock for the next month because they wanted to watch that football game, okay? I'm throwing it out there. Watch the movie The Holdovers with Paul Giamatti. It is amazing, okay?
Okay, I got to write that down.
Holdovers.
Yeah, and it's on Peacock. It's called The Holdovers. This is the one that has Paul Giamatti in a lot of Oscar talk this year for Best Actor.
Okay.
Basically, it's set in 1970. It's a fancy boarding school where he is one of the teachers who has to watch over the kids who have nowhere else to go during the break between the semesters.
Okay.
And everybody starts learning lessons.
All right, that's on Peacock, The Holdovers. I'll check that out. Wayne says her coming forward as Josh's girl, probably media would ruin their relationship. They do it to everybody, and a lot of that does happen.
Yeah,
there's no doubt. Yeah.
It's pain.
All right, Willie, I'm not done. Selena Gomez, who I am a huge fan of since this thing she's doing with
Only Murders in the Building, which is
Steve
awesome.
Martin is so good. Selena Gomez playing Linda Ronstadt. I'm totally into this.
Yeah, this is really interesting. Selena Gomez had a really good week this week. We had the announcement that, yes, she is going to play Linda Ronstadt in a biopic directed by David O. Russell, who is the guy who did, like, Silver Linings Playbook and Three Kings and is one of the really premier directors in all of Hollywood. And she is going to play Linda Ronstadt, who is one of the greatest female artists in rock and roll history. She's in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Yeah, she's great.
She's had,
What a
a
voice.
bunch of Grammys and top 10 hits, and then on top of that, it was just announced yesterday, Selena Gomez is going to be starring in a sequel series to her Disney show, The Wizards of Waverly Place.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay.
Everything's coming up Selena.
Yeah, my daughter will be all about that. That was one of her shows. Okay. By the way, I'm almost out of time, darn it. Yeah, Willie, there's so much. And by the way, I called it biopic, and a lot of people call it biopic, but I finally come to the conclusion that biopic is absolutely incorrect. It's biopic. So
I've heard it both ways.
Yeah, I have too.
Don't beat up on yourself.
But I've heard a lot of things both ways.
Tomato.
That don't necessarily make them correct. All right, quickly, 30 seconds. ISS, the International Space Station. I hope you loved this one.
It was a good, solid thriller. The idea that the people who are up on the International Space Station, some Russians, some Americans, are sitting there looking out the window, and they start to see nuclear bombs going off on the planet Earth. And what are they going to do? Some people have been in contact with the folks on Earth who are saying, take over the space station. Others are trying to figure out, hey, we might be the only people left living. Maybe we should get along together. I'm at 2.5 waffles. I think it's a good, solid movie. Yeah.
And a good, solid story that I could see, look at where we are today. And can you imagine if a war broke out between the two countries, what would happen? They're stuck on this ship.
They're stuck on the ship, so you've got that whole thing about, are they going to survive? How would they survive? What does the future look like for them? How are they going to react to each other? I mean, there's a lot of layers there that I think are really interesting.
Okay, you like it? And then American Nightmare, Netflix.
Awesome 3-part docuseries about a couple where they have an invader one night. The woman is kidnapped. This guy goes to the police, and how this case is handled will shock you as the police try to blame the guy for killing off the girlfriend. And then when the girlfriend shows up, they blame her for faking it, a la the Gone Girl movie. And how this plays out over 3 episodes will blow your mind that this actually happened. I'm at 3 waffles for American Nightmare.
Okay. And then finally, a Springsteen movie in the works, ?
Very excited. So there's a lot of buzz going on that there is going to be a Bruce Springsteen movie, a movie about the release and the recording of his 1982 album, Nebraska, which was a shocking, shocking release, given that he was riding high as one of the kings of rock and roll at the time. And there was a lot of pressure from the studio to put out, a traditional rock album, a la Born in the USA, which they were recording a lot of that stuff at the same time. And so that's the rumor going around right now that we're going to get that.
Love it. We hit everything, Willie. Thanks, man. Enjoy the weekend. Go Bills.
Go Bills. Now that the Steelers are out, I can root for the Bills again.
Here we go. All right. Thank you, man. Have a great weekend. All right.
See ya.
There's Willie Waffle. And, man, there's just so much to talk about, so many things. We'll continue here. WIBX Utica, Rome. It's 7 o'clock.
Your pet isn't just a pet, they're part of your family. Most of the pet food on the market is cooked at high temperatures, which kills nutrients. A scoop of Dynavite is a 3-in-1 daily supplement, adding back key nutrients to your pup's health. Try Dynavite for free. Just pay shipping and handling. Learn more at dinovite.com/radio. That's Dynavite.com/radio.
Happier, healthier with every bite. Over 1 million pets helped with Dynavite.
Hey, to social engineering and leftist corporations, do they make you feel like we're kind of living in the twilight zone? Well, you're not alone. Now, our friends at Pure Talk, my wireless company, they know the silent majority is fed up, and I'm calling on all of those Americans, stand with a company that champions your values. The average family is saving almost $1,000 a year. Dial pound 250, say the keyword SAVE NOW. Do it now. You'll save an additional 50% off your first month from our friends at Pure Talk.
President Biden touting his handling the economy on the campaign trail during a stop in Raleigh, North Carolina, while bashing the men he replaced in the Oval Office. Fox's Jared Halpern traveled with the commander-in-chief.
The president's announcement here of $82 million in federal funding to expand high-speed internet for low-income and rural communities is another example, he says, of breaking away from trickle-down economics supercharged by his predecessor.
You know, some of the things he said, well, I don't get started. But look, frankly, to put it very politely, he doesn't know what he's talking about.
President Biden is using these types of announcements to try to contrast his economic policies with that of former President Trump's and Republicans in Congress. And while there are signs of strengthening economic indicators, polling continues to show most Americans disapprove of President Biden's handling of the economy. Jared Halpern, Fox News.
Shelby Park in Eagle Pass, Texas. Its west bank touches the Rio Grande River with Mexico on the other side, but it's become a flashpoint between the Lone Star State's leader and the Biden administration. Fox's Matt Finn is at the park.
New video shows Texas installing even more fencing and razor wire inside Shelby Park, defying the Biden administration's deadline to reopen the property to the feds. The United States government is suing Texas, arguing its agents need access to this 2.5-mile stretch of land around Shelby Park, especially during emergencies. Texas DPS tells Fox News that Texas kicked the feds out from this park because it thinks it can do a better job deterring migrants, claiming the Biden administration removes the state's razor wire and doesn't care about securing the border.
But Japan could achieve the world's first pinpoint landing on the moon early Saturday morning, joining a modern push for lunar contact. I'm CJ Papa. This is Fox News.
Good morning, WIBX 950 News Time 7:05. I'm Andrew Dominio. Right now we're at 19 degrees under cloudy skies. Your full weather forecast is coming up. This update brought to you by Adirondack Home Furniture. Utica police are continuing their investigation into a shooting that took the life of a 16-year-old boy. The victim was found with a gunshot wound to the head on Smith Place Wednesday night. He was taken to a nearby hospital, but later pronounced dead. The victim's name has not been released, and no arrest has been made in the case. Tips can be submitted to police by calling 315-223-3556. We will speak with a number of people in the 7 o'clock hour in regards to this incident, including Lieutenant Michael Curley of the Utica Police Department. Hopefully he'll get us an update on this and the city's first homicide that claimed the life of a 15-year-old boy. We'll also speak with Shannon Patterson once again from Utica Snug about another senseless homicide in our city. The Utica Fire Department made quick work of a car fire that spread to 2 buildings on Saratoga Street Thursday evening. Utica Fire responded just after 6 p.m. and discovered the car fire had extended to 13 Saratoga Street and 1018 Whitesboro Street. Damage to 13 Saratoga Street was limited to the exterior of the building, but the fire had spread to the second floor and attic of 1018 Whitesboro Street. According to Utica Fire Chief Scott Ingersoll, while inside, firefighters found unsafe conditions with multiple holes in the floor in both the first and second floor. The building is vacant and without power. There were no injuries, and the cause of the fire appears to be accidental. Syracuse native Post Malone is going to be back in the international spotlight before Super Bowl 58 in Las Vegas. He's been picked to perform America the Beautiful ahead of the big game at Allegiant Stadium February 11th. And Variety Magazine reports Reba McEntire will sing the national anthem. The NFL previously revealed the halftime show will be a concert by Usher, which should be pretty awesome. And in just 2 days, it's going to cost Americans more money to send letters in the mail. That is because on Sunday, the United States Postal Service will increase the cost of a first-class forever U.S. postage stamp from the current 66 cents to 68 cents. Plus, the price of domestic postcard stamps will also rise from 51 to 53 cents. And stamps for international postcards will go up a nickel to $1.55. The Postal Service says these increases will help provide much-needed revenue. WIBX 950 News Time is 7:08. Your weather forecast is according to Eyewitness News Chief Meteorologist Craig Flint, brought to you by Cliff's Local Market. They keep you going.
I'm Eyewitness News Chief Meteorologist Craig Flint in the WIBX Weather Center. Today, cloudy, light snow at times, mainly south of the Thruway, 1 to 3 inches for most, a high of 23. Tonight, light snow and lake effect snow at times, 1 to 2 additional inches, a low near 0. And tomorrow, blustery and frigid all day. Wind chills below 0, minor lake effect snow showers and flurries, a high of 14. For more on your local forecast, tune to Eyewitness News at 6 on WTR. I'm meteorologist Craig Flint on WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM.
We're at 19 degrees under cloudy skies. WIBX 950 news time is 7:08. Broadcasting from the IBEW 43 local sports desk. Due to inclement weather, the following changes have been made to the men's hockey schedule for the Utica University Men's Pioneers. Friday's game has been moved to 12:30 p.m. Sunday at the Nexus Center. All tickets purchased for the originally scheduled game for tonight will be valid Sunday, and Saturday's puck drop has been moved from 7 p.m. to 6 p.m. at the Adirondack Bank Center. The Utica Comets are on home ice tonight. Puck drops from the Adirondack Bank Center at 7 p.m. They'll be playing in Syracuse tomorrow night at 7 p.m. And the Utica City FC looks to extend their winning streak to 3. They have a current record of 8-2. They're off to an amazing start this season. They'll play the Texas Outlaws at the Adirondack Bank Center Sunday at 3:05. The big game of the weekend, well, for most people here in our area, is the Buffalo Bills and Kansas City Chiefs.
That'll be big, no doubt.
They'll be renewing their rivalry with a trip to the AFC Championship game on the line. The two teams are set to square off Sunday at Highmark Stadium in Orchard Park. The Bills have won 6 straight games, including a 20-17 road win over the Chiefs on December 10th. However, KC has eliminated the Bills from the postseason twice in recent years. The start time for Sunday's contest is 6:30 p.m. Other divisional round.
I think the pregame starts at 6:30. I think the game is actually a 7 o'clock game.
Yeah, so
coverage begins at 6:30.
The pre-gaming will start at 11 or noon for Bills Mafia.
That's exactly correct. Yes.
Also, the divisional round will see the Baltimore Ravens, the top seed in the AFC, host rookie sensation C.J. Stroud and the Texans. That's going to be Saturday afternoon. Then the nightcap on Saturday is in Santa Clara, where the number 1 seeded San Francisco 49ers will try to slow down Jordan Love and my Green Bay Packers. Another pair of teams clash Sunday afternoon when the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and rejuvenated Baker Mayfield visit Jared Goff's tough Detroit Lions. A marquee matchup taking place later in the day is, of course, as I mentioned, Patrick Mahomes and the defending Super Bowl Kansas City Chiefs against the Bills. What else do I have here? Syracuse has won 2 of its last 3 games. The 12-5 Orange host Miami tomorrow at high noon on ESPN.
Davey with some comments. What do you have?
The Utica City FC is going to be known on Sunday as the Utica Riggies.
I saw that, yeah. They're getting a lot of publicity about that, too.
They got special uniforms that they...
I think that's their mascot now.
Yeah. Is it really?
Yeah.
All right, cool.
So, Bill, you know a lot of people that have been dealing with pain.
Well, most people around me are in pain. I don't know if I have anything to do with it. I hope I'm not the common denominator, but...
well, there is a solution.
I'm in pain right now.
Just looking at me.
Right? Yeah, right. Well, whether you have back pain, knee pain, carpal tunnel syndrome, whatever ails you, odds are Revive Soft Wave Therapy on Genesee Street in Utica can help. It's a groundbreaking therapy, as explained by Dr. Tim Delmedico, is a game changer. It's non-invasive, free from pills, those injections you get once every quarter and downtime, and you may be able to even avoid surgery. It's so effective, it's even used by NFL teams, the Cleveland Clinic, and the Mayo Clinic. This cutting-edge technology was developed in Germany, and it isn't limited to common pain areas. It's also addressing neuropathy, plantar fasciitis, which is pain in your feet, carpal tunnel syndrome, TMJ, and more. The treatment is quick, and it boasts an outstanding 90% success rate. And it uses high-speed sound waves that stimulate blood flow and stem cells to the impacted area, which promotes the body's natural healing. So if you've exhausted all other options in pursuit of relief, call Revive Soft Wave Therapy. You can actually go to their website, reviveutica.com, and see videos, testimonials. You can see how the treatment is done and talk to people or see people talking about their recovery with the use of this game-changing technology. Don't let pain dictate your life anymore when there is a solution available. Reach out to Dr. Tim Delmedico at 315-725-8427. That's 725-8427. Or get all the information you need. That's reviveutica.com.
Now, you passed me a note during the break, and I'm a little nervous about it. You're fearing that Chuck Sedella from Daylight Donuts is in the midst of a major conspiracy?
No, not Chuck.
Okay.
Other companies.
All right. What are you saying? What is your question?
Now, you had talked to Chuck about the difference between
what is espresso?
Yeah, what is espresso?
Yeah.
And a lot of people thought maybe there was an espresso bean. And you said, no, that's not the case. It's the...
Well, I thought there was an espresso bean.
Right, everybody did, because a lot of companies will market chocolate-covered espresso beans.
Oh,
You ever see them? They come in the bags. They're actually a nice little snack if you want a little boost.
All right, so here's the fact.
What's the deal?
Here's the fact on chocolate-covered espresso beans. Are you writing this down, Davey? This is according... Write it down, because this... Okay, good. This is according to Chuck Sedella. Because I did ask him that question. This does not come as a surprise to me, and it is something that people wonder about. So what is the difference between a regular coffee bean and an espresso bean? So there is such a thing, but I'll explain. The difference, according to Chuck, and I jotted this down yesterday, the difference between espresso and coffee comes down to the way the two are prepared rather than the actual beans.
Okay, so there's not a bean that's grown that's
there is
espresso
not,
bean.
It's not like you put in a seed to grow an espresso bean.
Right.
What it is, espresso beans are roasted for a longer time, a very dark roast. And then they have a fine grind and require high pressure to create an ounce or two of concentrated coffee. So what the bean that you're consuming that is covered with chocolate has been roasted for a much longer time.
Okay, so
that's what makes it a quote-unquote espresso bean.
Okay, so a coffee bean that becomes an espresso bean via a special process.
All espresso
beans
is coffee.
Are coffee. Okay.
All coffee is not espresso.
Brilliant.
Does that make sense?
It makes sense.
Yeah. I'm going to do a biopic about it.
I think it's a biopic mistake.
It's a bionic mistake.
Yeah, right.
That's what it is. 7:15, stand by. We're coming right back. This hour will be difficult. I'm just going to tell you right off the bat. We will do Habaika's free money question of the day this morning. Davey, you want to go with $1.50 this morning? You told me that earlier. Is that still true?
Yes.
All right. At your own risk. I talked to Habaika yesterday, too. He ain't pleased with you. I don't know why.
He's not? I
No,
like Joe. He likes me. I don't know why I'm a nice guy to get along with.
He likes you, but he's angry. He's angry over the money you're giving away, man.
Okay.
You're giving away too much money, he's saying.
Okay.
Okay. 150 this morning will be the number. We'll do that. But this issue of teenagers shooting up teenagers in Utica, I think we're actually reaching crisis mode. It has been 3 weeks since New Year's. Technically, we're not even to the full 3 weeks since the New Year. And we've already had 2 fatalities.
Yeah.
2 homicides in Utica. Both are young males under the age of 16 or 16 or under. I think we've reached crisis mode. We'll speak with the county executive. We'll speak with UPD. And we'll speak with a group called Utica Snug, which is a group that focuses on trying to get kids off the streets and on the straight and narrow. We'll get into all of it coming up at 7:17 to WIBX.
Are you ready for a buying experience like no other? Head to Steve Ponte Chevrolet in Herkimer. They're bursting with inventory. Over 100 brand new Chevys on the lot. Check out the newly redesigned Chevy Trax or power through any terrain with their all-wheel drive Chevy Trailblazer or Chevy Equinox. Looking for something sturdy? Their lot is loaded with Chevy Silverados, the epitome of strength and reliability. And get $6,000 off or take advantage of interest rates as low as 1.9%. Steve Ponte Chevy. Find new roads with incredible savings. Visit them on Route 28 in Herkimer or at StevePonteChevy.com. See why it's always easy to do business at Steve Ponte Chevy.
$6,000 off 2024 LT or RST Silverado with 2.7-liter engine. Must currently own or lease 2010 or newer Chevy car or truck. 2,500 must trade in 2010 or newer car or truck to eligible model or 1.9% with qualifying credit through GM Financial. One tier, 36 months. Offer ends 1/31/24.
Hi, this is Scott Hayes.
And this is Jill Hayes from New York Sash.
You know, honey, the first time you said never let a window salesperson into your home, I thought you were nuts, but you were right.
Like there was really any doubt.
Seriously, so many people have told us how nice it is to shop in our beautiful showroom where there's never any high pressure.
Yep, and it's even nicer when we can help people save.
Like right now, buy 2 New York Sash windows and get 1 free.
We get slow during the winter and we need to stay busy, so you get the best deal we make all year. Buy 2 windows, get 1 free.
Buy 4, get 2 free.
Buy 6 windows, get 3 free. There's no end to the savings.
And there's no need to invite a pushy salesperson into your home. Instead, stop by the New York Sash Idea and Design Center, where you can browse at your convenience.
We're open Monday through Saturday on Oriskany Boulevard in Whitesboro.
These savings are only available for a limited time, so come in today. And as always,
let our family take care of your family.
You've put off getting a new bed. You really want a new bed. Let's be honest, you probably need a new bed. Kevin Fear from Mattress Express, and I have the answer for you for the new year. Any purchase in the store, $1,500 or more, qualify and sign up and get up to 60 months to pay with no money down. Don't give us a nickel. You heard me right, up to 60 months to pay, no money down. That includes our full lineup of massage chairs. And yes, it includes Tempur-Pedic, Stearns & Foster, Purple, Puffy, the Smart Bed by Instant Comfort, Posh & Lavish, and more. You can get pre-qualified at mattressexpressny.com. Look for the 15-second express credit app. Stop into any store. No appointment necessary. We'd be happy to qualify you in store. And you can call 1-800-NEW-BEDS. See store for details.
It seems like everywhere you look right now, someone is sick. This year, prepare your family for airborne invaders like bacteria, pollen, and yes, germs with Navage Nasal Care. Navage flushes ultra-pure, refreshing saline in one nostril, around the back of the nose, and out of the other nostril. Navage sucks out viruses, dust, and other airborne particles, all the stuff that gets trapped in your nose, making you miserable. Don't get caught empty-handed this winter. Get Navage, the drug-free solution that helps you breathe easier, sleep better, and feel healthier. Even better, Navage is HSA, FSA eligible, so Navage is a great way to spend those funds before they expire. Don't wait a minute longer. Buy Navage today and you'll breathe easier knowing you're putting your funds to good use. Navage is available online at Navage.com or Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, and Rite Aid. Navage, N-A-V-A-G-E. Clean nose, healthy life.
Why get an updated COVID vaccine? If you're 65 or older, a COVID vaccine can keep you out of the hospital. And if you have heart disease, a COVID vaccine can help you stay healthy. With COPD or other lung diseases, getting a COVID vaccine can keep you off a ventilator. Anyone can get severely ill from COVID. But some people are more at risk. Know your risk and make sure you're up to date on your COVID vaccine. A message from the New York State Health Department.
The Falcon Clinic in Washington Mills is accepting new patients. Dr. Shemaleski, Dr. Zielinski, all under one roof with several other doctors, and that could include counseling, acupuncture, general practitioner. Dr. Shemaleski was an ER doctor for years, and today they're accepting new patients. Call today. It's the area's premier osteopathic medical clinic, 315-507-4751. Or visit them online, falconclinic.com. The Falcon Clinic, 315-507-4751 in Washington Mills.
WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM. This is Keeler.
All right, 722, County Executive Anthony Picente on the line right now. Good morning, County Executive.
Good morning. How are you?
Good. First, I want to start with, as I know we spoke to you last week about the governor's budget proposal, but now she's out with her PowerPoint and what's
a big fancy PowerPoint.
She's on the PowerPoint tour.
PowerPoint, yes.
So, anything new? Any new considerations? What are your thoughts?
Well, I mean, obviously, we always wait and see what the next shoe is going to drop. And quite frankly, the budgets over the years, I mean, while the governor has proposed different things, it's really the Democratic-controlled legislature that really makes the more drastic changes. So it's almost like we still got to wait and see. But at the same time, I'm concerned about, obviously, the prison closings are an issue, in terms of jobs, but also in terms of issues of safety and really, just the whole criminal justice system. I have to question the billions that are being spent on the migrant situation when we have so many other problems that are facing us, and yet we're still not attacking that in the way that it should be approached. And so, when you're spending when just billions of dollars are going for an issue that is really, the federal government has created and you've accepted without any real plan in place, just really does drive the questions of, what's going on here with all this money being spent in that regard. Not trying to say that, in terms of humanity and other issues, that shouldn't be a factor, but at the same time, we just keep accepting more people and have no place to put them. And they have no plan in which to put them, but we're just going to keep spending money and trying to figure it out. So that's concerning. And, there's other issues in there that, obviously, when with the state still facing a deficit, what else is happening and what other pieces are going to drop on the county. So we're still waiting.
The other issue I think that is the big one for us right now. I know that Utica has a new mayor, and we'll speak with him next week on this issue.
We hope,
but two basically underage homicides in Utica. This is reaching a point of crisis.
It definitely is, and I did talk to the mayor. I talked to him actually regularly in the last week or so, and especially after this last shooting the other night. This is becoming more of a problem. Obviously, could be considered or is considered a crisis situation or state of emergency. I know that he and the police chief and others are looking at other issues and or other ways in which to combat it. I mean, we're dealing with a societal problem that is there's no easy answer. There's no pill to fix it. There's no easy solution. But clearly, we have some issues that are with the younger people in particular, which is very disturbing. When you already had the incident at the school event, and then now you had two 16-year-olds killed literally execution style, which is very scary. And so I think I don't think anything should be off the table in terms of what considerations should be given in this situation. Whether it's looking at a curfew, whether it's looking at other areas of enforcement. So I think that, and again, I'll leave. We'll help where we can, obviously, but there's a lot to consider here, and it is a crisis when two in the same week, and two that are everything. Everybody they related. Everything's related.
Yeah.
I don't think you can point to one and say it's not related. And again, I'm not delving into details. I don't know all the intimate pieces, but at the end of the day, when those things happen the way they do, there's a relationship somewhere in the neighborhood, whether it's gangs or whether it's school groups of some sort or whatever. But we also need more intervention and more programming that can hopefully keep these kids off the streets and without guns. I mean, that's scary thing is what they're carrying around with them. I mean, that no one has seen that in years past, but it's becoming almost like as much as carrying a cell phone today.
Yeah, it's really incredible. When you say this is a complicated problem, it really needs to be attacked from all different angles. It seems there's so many different facets of this, from the home, the family, the school, potentially boys club, girls club, things for kids to do, reaching them when they're younger before they it's almost as if this type of street life has been romanticized, and it's appealing to these young males. So,
or it's all they know.
So there's so many facets of this.
And the breakdown, in family situations, obviously is something, that obviously everybody points to raise the age, and raise the age is a factor, but it didn't, raise the age didn't just, the kids didn't get a memo and say, okay, you can go do this stuff now.
Yep.
Because you won't get penalized for it. I mean, that's not the way it worked. Even though, there are some that say, obviously, that it hampers law enforcement and prosecution's ability to handle these in a different way. But it still does, require more. I mean, we talked yesterday, and like my wife and I talked about, the Boys and Girls Club, the Big Brothers program.
Right.
Another one that, went by the wayside many years ago that, was mentoring and hopefully, really, bringing along, kids that didn't have the solid home structure, of two parents in whatever situation, big brothers, big sisters that, could do that. So, and the point here is, that whether they're all innocent, or all guilty, in terms of the piece, they're still innocent in terms of the circumstances. That's going to, and the danger now is what happens with the innocents that are walking by in these situations. That's the other, there's so many other factors here, but we do need to come together. We did have a meeting. I commend Mayor Galimi. We had a meeting in his office last week with, a great many of our people from county government and DSS and probation, and you had family court judge there, Caldwell. We had police, the sheriff, and everything. So, I think, we're brainstorming and looking at different ways in which this can be done, which we haven't done, which hasn't been done, and it needs to, because otherwise, these shootings took place and there was no response, and we really need to have more of a response going forward.
Two comments, and then Andrew has one more thing, and we'll let you go. But a student at Whitesboro, a student at Oriskany, a student in the Valley, a car accident occurs. It's a travesty at that district. And you end up having counselors there. In some cases, you've seen schools closed because of it. It's a travesty. Yet we have children being shot and killed in Utica, and it's not getting that same. I'm sure it is, but it's not. And I think it's a community issue, number one. And the other part is we often hear people that call in and say, and actually, every politician has heard this. Every person that's in a public job, certainly every radio person has heard this. You know what you need to do. You know what they need to do. There is no one what they need to do. There's not one single thing.
No, there isn't. But you raise a good point in terms of the issues of other tragedies that occur and how our reaction is. But the other point here is, in some of these cases, these kids are not in school.
That's true. Yeah, you're right.
They're not a part of the everyday fabric of the buildings that they go to or whatever, and so therefore, it's somewhat removed. Although I agree with you, it's not really, because they're still 16-year-olds or whatever, and
at some point,
you and I can think back of what was the worst thing you did when you were 16.
I know. This is shocking.
I came home after 11 o'clock, which is something that or earlier if that was a school night or whatever. But all of those things are relevant, and so when you're looking at that, excuse me, that's one of the reasons we said, look, we need to know when kids are not in school. That's something the police need to know. Especially when there is previous incidents of those individuals, and how do we track that? So there's things we have to we really have to start. I think you're right. It is at a crisis. It's almost at a state of emergency in a sorts, and more we need to work together with law enforcement and the courts and everybody. I mean, this is everybody's problem. It's not one, and it's not one city's problem. And because it will, and it has shown that it, resonates throughout.
Yeah, it's all over.
And I go back to, and that's one of the things I told the mayor the other night. Is, look, there's nobody's looking for anybody to come up and say, okay, here it is, we're done, we got this fixed. I mean, it doesn't happen that way, especially with what we've been seeing.
Yeah, but you're yearning for the problems that are, let's go, let's patch the pipe. It'll fix the leak.
Yeah, right.
Those are wonderful problems to have. Finally, Andrew.
And the other thing is too is we talked about Boys and Girls Club, and then Bill, you made the comment about they had ARPA money and they spent it on a slide and a skate park. You got to realize too, 8 months out of the year, those things can't be utilized, right? So you're going to get a new pool. Okay, that's good for the summer for 3 months, but there's literally nothing for young kids to do in the winter, in a lot I think that's the big thing.
Good point.
Wasted opportunity, I feel.
Big Honey says
and the other thing is, I'll leave you one other thing. When you talk about using funds, we had talked last year about possibly doing more cameras in those neighborhoods. Now, everybody says, okay, is that a deterrent? Well, it's not. It could be, but because when these things happen, nobody's talking.
Right. That's a huge problem.
And if they know that they're being watched in some fashion, I mean, look, I think you have to look at all of the different avenues and factors in which to, not only prevent but really investigate. And it's hard for the police, and I know you'll hear from the chief or whoever, and they'll tell you, and nobody's talking. I know the DA when I talked to him last week. When the first young man got shot, it was like, how many people came forward? Zero. Nobody. Nobody wants to come forward. And that's a problem, too, because of retaliation and everything else. So,
that is a major problem. There's no doubt about it. County Executive, thank you. I appreciate it, and we'll do it again.
Yeah, have a good weekend. Stay warm, everybody.
You do the same, and go Bills. Just for us.
Go
Bills.
Goodbye.
All right, thank you. Big Honey, we need more prisons, not less. Well, part of the reason is because people aren't being held in jails and prisons as much now, and there's a population decrease, so they're closing prisons. Maybe we do need more, but you don't need more prisons unless you change the current law structure that we have. Lance, I find Mr. Picente's statement about migrant funding odd. One news conference, he's complaining we can't afford to take them in. Now the state adds funds to take care of it themselves, and he's complaining about it. Okay. And let me go to UPD. Mike Curley on the line right now. Good morning, Mike. Thanks so much. Lieutenant Mike Curley.
Good morning, Bill.
All right, well, you've heard the county executive. There is no doubt this is not a one-pronged approach fix. And it also is not something that happened overnight. This has been something that's probably been brewing for quite some time. However, it's the spark that lights the kindling. I kind of wonder if social media has played a role in all of this. I don't know. But it almost seems as if getting a gun, being 15 years old, going out and actually shooting and killing someone has somehow been normalized or romanticized.
Yes. I mean, the simple answer is absolutely. And why and how do we address it, right? I mean, what?
Yeah.
It's no easier to say than yes. And I say this knowing how it sounds, but there's nobody marching when a 15, 16, and 14-year-old are shot in the last 60 days, right? Like, I mean, where's the community outrage? Where are the people who
that's my
are
point.
directly next to these people doing something about it?
That is my exact point. And my comparison to Whitesboro or Oriskany or anywhere else where something's like an automobile accident happens and there's a candle vigil.
Candle vigil. And
this is going on, and it seems like nobody cares. And it, to me, is just pretty scary.
Yeah, and back to the point about the Utica City School District does a great job. I don't want to say that, but I feel in some respects that it's just a conditioned response to violence that occurs, not just in Utica, but in municipal areas all across New York State. It's, again, not acceptable. And we're kind of at a position where we, as the police department, we have task force, right? We have coalitions. We have people that we partner with. There's not a lot more that throwing money or throwing more people at the solutions going to solve at this moment. We do our best to solve the crimes, try to hold these people accountable, and we're never going to stop trying to get justice for these families. But
right.
We need help in the community. We need more than just Roosevelt, Patterson, and Snug out there telling people these are wrong. There are only so many people. They're going to get burned out. They can't do it all on their own.
No doubt about it. It is this has to come, and maybe there's your one prong. If you were looking for one broad approach, it is it's the community. It's the community. Somewhere along the line, the community has to come together and say, this is not acceptable. We are not allowing our children to behave this way, and we're making a change. And, the sad part of the story is, in some cases, these young males don't have, when you think of parents and it's in your mind, you think of your own parents, you think of your own life, and maybe you think of yourself as a parent. That family unit for a lot of these kids does not exist as we know it, which makes it very difficult for us to understand.
Yeah, and I think you need to look in their lens as well. And I think a lot of people get trapped into, well, the parent family just doesn't care. But, when you talk to these grieving mothers of young kids, they care, right?
Yeah.
Like they just have a difficult time, and I'm not going to get in their shoes and say why wasn't their 14-year-old supervised at 9 p.m. doing this, and this? It's not fair in some respects, but on the other end, it is very fair, because what are we doing about it to give them the assistance, or why aren't they knowing exactly what their children is? And, there's a lot of, hey, what can we do? And nobody's got the answers. And then that's frustrating, I imagine, for the community, too. Like, you're tasking these professionals and the practitioners with, hey, this is your problem, fix it. And we're kind of at a loss how to fix it as well sometimes. And
Lieutenant Curley, I don't want to be getting into the territory of surmising anything here, but I'd have to imagine that with the first victim of 2024, when it comes to the first homicide in Utica being 15, this recent victim being 16, it's probably likely that the assailant or the suspect you're looking for is somewhere in that age group. And it's, at the point where, this whole thing about, people not wanting to snitch or talk to police, and that's justify it. But when the victim is an adult person over the age of, let's say, 25 into the 30 territory, okay, you don't want to snitch, that's whatever. But these are children. These are children. How many more 16 and 15-year-olds have to die because somebody doesn't want to talk? And that's kind of frustrating to me. I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't go there or whatever, but that's got to be frustrating for you. These are kids. These are children.
No, it certainly is, and the outrage needs to be felt by that age group in which they're willing to come forward. Like, we can have that emotion and we can say the exact same thing, but until they start to feel it, and I don't know what the catalyst is, that if you just lose enough friends, is that enough? Enough's enough type of thing? I don't know.
Brothers or cousins.
They certainly need to come forward.
So this is off the WIBX 950 app. Easy and alien. Why? Is because we don't hold anybody accountable and fix it. Hold people accountable. They kill somebody, charge them as an adult, put them in jail. That's an example of what I said. This is not a one-pronged problem. And I'd like your take on that. These kids all know if you shoot and kill somebody, you're going to be dealt with as an adult for the most likely, and you're going to face, if they catch you, if you catch them, you're going to face some serious consequences. These kids know that, right?
So I think it's the slow burn up to the point where they kill somebody.
Mm-hmm.
Why aren't we addressing the problem before that? Right. Once they kill somebody, that's a problem. It's a lot of that these children have been involved in facet in the criminal justice system, and due to reforms or non-binding, strong punitive punishments, they're not held accountable prior to it. Is them shooting someone the third offense that they've been caught with a loaded handgun, and now they know, hey, nothing happened to me prior, maybe I'll just escalate my behavior. Or since I wasn't held accountable and got the services, or perhaps a slow,
No, I understand.
But you know what I'm saying? Something of that nature, detention facility.
Yes.
Like, I didn't get held accountable for my prior actions.
Yeah.
Thus,
And maybe
I am present on the street or I'm committing these crimes now.
And maybe you hold them accountable at that point for a much more minor issue, and you reach the kid. That's the point where you maybe have the opportunity to reach that kid. So, he's correct. But it's not just that. It's so many other elements that of all of this, and there's no doubt raise the age and bail reform and all of these changes that have happened in New York, I would imagine, are playing a role in this. Because this is not new. I mean, Syracuse, this was Syracuse last year.
Oh, yeah. And let's not
this
forget.
Year it seems to be our turn.
To Lieutenant Curley's point, let's not forget that we reported on a story at the end of last year where you responded to a convenience store burglary, and there's 12 and 13-year-old kids that are involved at these in this activity late at night. And at 12 or 13, them normalizing behavior such as that, what happens, 3 or 4 years later?
Yeah.
We're seeing it.
I would say Crime Stoppers, Mohawk Valley Crime Stoppers is a great option. It's anonymous, so if there's someone in that community, they should know that they can make a phone call or go to the app, and it's 100% anonymous.
Yeah, Crime Stoppers is wonderful. We've solved more crimes with the assistance of Crime Stoppers. I just want to give a caveat that for successful prosecutions, we need people, right? Like Crime Stoppers gives us the suspects, it gives us the details of the crime. But I'm telling you, in 99% and probably 100% of all major crimes and homicides in Syracuse, we know who the perpetrator is.
Yep.
Can we work with the DA's office to make a prosecutable case with people that are willing to cooperate with the lack of surveillance or other electronic evidence? And that becomes very difficult.
Lieutenant Mike Curley, God bless you for what you guys do out there. It's,
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Cannot be easy, so we appreciate it.
No, thank you guys so much for always giving us a voice and getting us out there and highlighting these issues.
All right, thanks so much, Mike Curley. A couple of other comments in here on all of this. We all want to be able to say, here's the answer. And maybe it is needing more prisons. Maybe it is holding people accountable when they're younger. Maybe it is, Joe Joseph, fathers in the there are no fathers in the household. But I think it's a combination of all of this. And, the lieutenant's correct. Crime Stoppers is great because somebody's willing to say something in order to catch someone.
Or give them the information they need,
But to be able to get to the bottom of this, maybe Crime Stoppers becomes very, very useful when you're trying to figure out where these guns are coming from. If you saw the state police making an arrest in Oswego, those were all kids that were arrested bringing machine guns in. It's just unbelievable. Lance and Lee may make one of the most correct statements of all out of all of this. Hate to tell you, most people don't care unless it's in their backyard. And the only thing I would say to that is Utica is your backyard.
Yeah.
I don't care where you're living. If you can hear us, Utica's your backyard. It should be something concerning all of us. All right. We'll break, and then we'll speak with Shannon Patterson. Davey, let's do Hobica's free money question. $150 on the line. You're going with caller number what?
Caller 5.
Fifth caller through the lines right now at 315-736-0186. 315-736-0186. We'll do it next on WIBX.
Hey guys, Sewell Claycomb of Claycomb Auto Sales, and you know what? You deserve it. You've worked hard. You're in the middle of, or you've raised your children. You've done the right thing. You've denied yourself of the things that you've wanted. You're still driving that junker. Now you deserve to do what you want to do. You deserve to get that vehicle that you've always wanted. You deserve it. So do it. Claycomb Auto Sales, Westmoreland, ClaycombAutoSales.com.
A lot of Kanoli's energy started to bounce back.
She has a lot of puppy moments, and she'll be 14 this summer.
What did these dog parents do for their dogs? They switched to Nature's Blend, a premium freeze-dried raw dog food made by Dr. Marty Goldstein, a veterinarian Forbes magazine called the Miracle Worker. It's the easiest way to support your dog's easy digestion, nourished skin, playful energy, and most importantly, their healthy, full life.
I'm so confident your dog will love it. Your order is back with a 90-day guarantee.
Save up to 54% off Nature's Blend and get a free full-size bag of Tilly's Treasures dog treats. They're best-selling beef liver dog treats while supplies last. Go to drmartypets.com/deal or text DEAL to 511-511. Go to drmartypets.com/deal or shop in over 2,000 stores nationwide. Use the store locator to find the store closest to you. All pets are unique. Your pet's results can and will vary. Message and data rates may apply. Studies available upon request.
What's holding you back from learning the language you've always wanted to know?
Too hard.
Takes too long.
Not with Babbel. Babbel's lessons take just 15 minutes a day.
15 minutes isn't long.
Nope, and they're fun.
Fun isn't hard.
Right. Babbel's interactive lessons, podcasts, games, and more make it fun and engaging, so you don't realize you're learning a language, but you are. And Babbel's lessons are built around real life. You can choose from topics like travel, business, relationships, and more. You'll learn what matters most to you. Plus, Babbel's lessons are designed to get you speaking right away. In 3 weeks, you're able to start having conversations.
Just 3 weeks? Even better.
Since Babbel's lessons are designed by language experts and voiced by real native speakers, you'll get the accents just right and be able to carry on conversations with confidence.
Learning a language with Babbel doesn't take long.
And with Babbel, it isn't hard.
It's perfect.
Start learning a new language today. Go to Babbel.com. That's Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
Do you miss the simplicity and reliability of a landline?
With a landline service, conversations were never cut off because your internet stopped working.
Your grandkids couldn't lose your home phone on some playground.
Now landlines are back and better than ever with Community Phone. Community Phone offers home phone service starting at just $39 a month. And today, get 50% off your first month when you call 1-866-348-3867. With Community Phone, there are no contracts, no internet needed, no complicated wiring. A classic landline, but with the latest upgrades like caller ID, voicemail, spam call blocking, unlimited nationwide calls, and more. And the phone works even if the power goes out. You can even keep your own phone number or get a new one. You can set up your home phone service with Community Phone in 30 seconds, all by yourself. Today, get 50% off your first month when you call 1-866-348-3867. Call 1-866-348-3867 today to get 50% off. 1-866-348-3867.
This station is brought to you by Tallman's Tire, located in Utica, Yorkville, Rome, and Herkimer, and online at tallmanstire.com.
Ready for a smoother, safer ride? Look to Tallman's Tire and Auto Repair, your trusted tire experts. Tallman's and their professional staff is there for answers, advice, and quality tires at a great price. And right now, Tallman's, when you purchase 4 Summit tires, you'll get installation, mounting, and balancing absolutely free. Summit tires are great quality and your best value in Central New York. And free installation when you purchase 4 tires is an amazing deal. Don't miss out. This offer ends January 31st, 2024. Visit Tallman's Tire and Auto Repair in Utica, Yorkville, Rome, and Herkimer. Online at tallmanstire.com.
We're rolling out store-wide savings this Labor Day at the Home Depot. Like up to $15 off Scott's Winter Guard Turf Builder. Because long weekends are all about getting outside, putting down roots for the fall, and feeding a lawn you can enjoy all year round. Shop Labor Day savings at the Home Depot and get up to $15 off Scott's Winter Guard Turf Builder. The Home Depot, how doers get more done.
What I'm about to share is something we don't talk about often enough, so I'm just going to say it. We apply deodorant to our armpits every day. It's a part of the routine, right? So why do we put up with odors on other parts of our body between showers? It's time you discovered Lumi Whole Body Deodorant for pits, privates, and beyond. I tried it, and I noticed a difference right away, everywhere. Lumi was developed by an OBGYN. It's clinically proven to control odor for 72 hours. Since Lumi, I never have to worry about body odor ever again, and that reassurance is worth every penny. Lumi has over 300,000 5-star reviews, and a 60-day money-back guarantee means you can try Lumi risk-free. Give Lumi Whole Body Deodorant a try and start controlling your body odor better, everywhere.
There's a special offer for listeners. Use code RISKFREE and get an extra $5 off a Lumi starter pack, and ships free with code RISKFREE. LUMEdeodorant.com, code RISKFREE, and get an extra $5 off a Lumi starter pack. That's LUMEdeodorant.com, code RISKFREE.
WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM. This is Keeler.
Righty now. Who's on the free money question there, Davey?
Mark from Westmoreland on
right,
2.
He's on 2. Hey, Mark in Westmoreland, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good. You ready to go?
Yes.
This is worth $150.
Oh,
yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Here's your question. You know you have 7 seconds to answer. And get it in. If you need to guess, Make your guess. Here's your question. How old is the cereal Fruit Loops? Ready, go.
60 years old.
60 years old. Sounds like...
No, 75. Probably about 75.
You're going with... Which? Okay.
You gave
No,
three
I can only
answers,
give one
Mark.
answer. I'm wrong. I'm going to say I'm wrong when I'm wrong. I'm not going to complain.
Give one
I didn't
answer.
really know
Give
if
us,
I took the guess.
Give us one answer right now.
I already did. I told you, what did I say, 60? Yep, I'm going with that because that was the one I had,
60 years old is correct.
Yeah.
Winning.
Oh, no way.
Winning.
There you go.
And he did get it in within the time, too.
You were apologetic. You were...
I'm sorry I gave a guess.
I'm sorry. I mean, don't apologize to us, man. I mean... You're walking away.
I had my 7 seconds. If I didn't get it, I didn't get it.
You were 50. You were
75,
60 years old. 75. No, 82. 77.
No, I
76.
said 60. I said 60, and then the thing went off, and I knew that was it.
Yeah. All right.
60 was the final answer.
We'll give it to you. Fruit Loops was created as a product in 1963.
Okay.
Which makes it
60 years
60
old.
years old.
Technically,
I mean, it wasn't. The good news is it wasn't created in January.
Yeah,
of
right. Then you would have
1963.
been in trouble.
All right, so we're going to give you 60 and make that work. Fruit Loops. Stand by. Davey's going to hook you up, all right?
It's always fun getting through and, just even talking to you guys in the morning. It's fantastic.
Listen,
Makes
Mark.
my day.
Mark, screw that. It's fun when you win. That's all that matters. I like it.
That's great, too.
All right, stand by. Enjoy the
I
weekend.
wouldn't care if I lost. I get to talk to you guys.
Well,
That's
thank
great.
you. And you stay warm this weekend. Stand by, and Davey's going to take care of you.
Great, man.
Call in
earlier,
anytime, Mark.
Earlier, we were talking to the county executive, talking with Lieutenant Mike Curley on these ridiculously senseless shootings that are happening and this new culture that we're dealing with where kids get a hold of guns and they're out in the middle of the night and they're literally assassinating other kids. I believe it was a 15-year-old and a 16-year-old. The two homicides so far in the year 2024 in the last 3 weeks. This is just shocking. And on the line right now is Shannon Patterson. She works for, through ICANN, an organization called Utica Snug. It's a national organization. It's guns spelled backwards. The idea is to make a connection with young people before it ends up where we're ending up here in Utica. And Shannon, sorry to have you back under these circumstances. Yeah. Good morning.
Good morning. Yes, it's very unfortunate that we are 10 days from the last homicide and we are addressing another one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I would ask you, one of the things we have heard from police is oftentimes these are kids, they know their names. These are kids that have had brushes with the law prior. Is that the case here?
I'm not sure about the information on this new case. I'm not even sure about the information on the last case.
Yeah.
So a lot of the times it is, individuals who are high risk, individuals who are just out in the streets, and I can't even, I'm not sure on the information on that right now.
The reality is your focus is not on what has happened. Your focus is trying to prevent it happening from before it actually happens.
Absolutely. Our focus down at Snug Utica is to reduce gun violence in our community. And we do that by working with the highest risk individuals. So we are working with these individuals on a day-to-day basis, bringing them down and getting them involved in things that does not require them to think about any type of violence, so changing the norms for them, getting them into things that they've never done, experiences that they've never experienced. Because at the end of the day, and they are still just children, we want them to experience things that a child should experience. They're acting as if they're adults.
Yeah.
And when they come to Snug, we want them to have a safe space to be a child.
Shannon, when you're talking with the individuals that you talk with on a regular basis, how are they reacting to this? when they hear about a peer of theirs, or maybe in some cases a friend or a classmate of theirs that has had their life ended by gun violence, I mean, what is their reaction to that?
A lot of times, most times they're traumatized. I could definitely say I've seen, some of these individuals come to me and they're numb to it because it's happened so often, so they don't know how to react to it because this isn't the first time that it's happened. They're seeing this time and time again. And, last on the 7th, when the young kid who was murdered on the 7th of this month, it was on a Sunday, and these individuals had to go back to school on Monday. So no one offered counseling, no one offered, therapy for them to stay out of school for a couple of days and, get their mind together. So it's traumatizing, so I know that we need to be treating this, we need to recognize this gun violence as a critical and preventable public health problem, because that's what it is, and the more people that get involved, the more solutions we can have.
It is a public health problem.
100%.
And I think the county executive understands that. I think the fact that there were meetings this week, people trying to get to the bottom of this, and they included everybody. There's no easy fix here. But
it's not.
Yeah.
I can.
Go ahead, Shannon.
Yeah, I could definitely agree to that. It's definitely not an easy fix. I mean, it's been plaguing our community for decades, I just think that, the more people get involved, and I know there is a lot of people involved right now. I know we have a ton of people who come out and support our rallies. A ton of people are messaging me, asking me, how can I get involved? How can I support SNUG? And, there's so many ways you guys can support SNUG. These individuals need someone. They need the support. They need, that one-on-one. So if you can mentor, if you're an employer and you want to, you have odd jobs that my individuals can take on, let me know. If you have anything that they can do on the side to keep them busy, because these kids don't have anything to do with their idle time.
How can they reach out to your organization, Shannon?
They can definitely call me directly. They can call me directly. My number is on the SNUG Facebook page. I'm sorry, I can't remember it right now.
All right, that's fine. Go to SNUG Utica through ICANN and check it out. Shannon, we appreciate your time, and people look them up on the website. Check it out. And if there's something we can give these kids to do to keep them busy, that would be a real positive. Shannon, thank you so much. Got a break. It's 8 o'clock, WIBX Utica, Rome.
Rivera.
Former President Donald Trump won 20 of Iowa's 40 Republican delegates on Monday, and he's looking to dominate again in New Hampshire. His rivals Nikki Haley and Governor Ron DeSantis locked in a battle for second place. Trump threw cold water on Haley's chances of winning against President Biden in the general election. Trump's interview with Hannity was his first since winning Iowa on Monday. Registered Democrats can't participate in New Hampshire's GOP primary, but moderate voters in the state are very influential, and independents can vote in either party's presidential primary.
New Hampshire's primary awards 22 delegates of the 1,215 needed to win the nomination. The Senate and then the House pass a bill to prevent a government shutdown this weekend. Fox's Jack Callahan reports from D.C.
The yeas are 314, the nays are 108. 2/3 being in the affirmative. The rules are suspended, and the Senate amendment is agreed to.
Continuing government spending at current levels until March. Connecticut Democrat Representative Rosa DeLauro.
Some of my colleagues would see that this government would shut down and don't care how hurtful that would be.
But Texas Republican Congressman Chip Roy says passing stopgap bills isn't governing.
It is Groundhog Day in the House chamber all the time, every day. Yet again, spending money we don't have.
Fewer than half of the House Republicans voted for the stopgap. That could mean trouble ahead for House Speaker Mike Johnson. In Washington, Jack Callahan, Fox News.
Hunter Biden agrees to a closed-door deposition under oath as part of House Republicans' impeachment inquiry of his father, the president. It's scheduled to happen February 28th after several interviews with Biden family members and associates, according to a joint statement from House Oversight Committee Chair James Comer and Judiciary Committee Chairman Jim Jordan. America's listening to Fox News.
Go with your gut. Your dog's immune system is based in the gut. A diet lacking in nutrients can cause itching, scratching, and a weak immune system. However, there is a solution. DINOVITE, Dinovite.
It took a grand total of 2 weeks. The dog stopped itching, the hair stopped falling out.
Try Dinovite for free. Just pay shipping and handling. Learn more at dinovite.com/radio.
Happier, healthier with every bite. Over 1 million pets helped with Dinovite.
Hey, to social engineering and leftist corporations, do they make you feel like we're kind of living in the Twilight Zone? Well, you're not alone. Now, our friends at Pure Talk, my wireless company, they know the silent majority is fed up, and I'm calling on all of those Americans, stand with a company that champions your values. The average family is saving almost $1,000 a year. Dial pound 250, say the keyword SAVE NOW. Do it now. You'll save an additional 50% off your first month from our friends at Pure Talk.
Oriskany Garage, a locally owned auto repair shop, is consistently selected best auto repair shop in the Utica area year after year. Google search Oriskany Garage to see what our customers are saying. Come and see us for friendly professional service. For all of your auto repair needs, brakes, tires, funny noises, warning lights, come experience friendly professional service at Oriskany Garage down the street from Utica University or online at ogtire.com. Come on and say it with me and make the noise. ogtire.com.
Oneida County Department of Family and Community Services has immediate openings for program nurses, starting at over $59,000. Nurses work a 35-hour work week, conducting patient screenings and home health assessments. And the civil service exam fee is waived for 2024. Apply today at OneidaCountyJobs.com.
For a limited time at Mattress Express, qualified buyers will get 60 months to pay on any purchase $1,500 or higher with no money down. That includes all brands of mattresses in the store and massage chairs. See store for details.
Good morning, WIBX 950 News Time, 8:04. I'm Andrew Derminio. Chilly start to the day. We are at 19 degrees under cloudy skies. Your full weather forecast is coming up. This update brought to you by the new destination Kia of Utica on Commercial Drive in Yorkville. Utica police are still investigating another tragic homicide that has plagued our city that took the life of a 16-year-old boy. The victim was found with a gunshot wound to the head on Smith Place Wednesday night. He was taken to Wynn Hospital but later pronounced dead. The victim's name has not been released and no arrest has been made in the case. Police are eagerly trying to get information, security footage from the area, or any tips that may be helpful. You can call them at 315-223-3556 or use Mohawk Valley Crime Stoppers. The Utica Fire Department made quick work of a car fire that spread to 2 buildings on Saratoga Street Thursday evening. Utica Fire responded just after 6 p.m. and discovered the car had extended to 13 Saratoga Street and 1018 Whitesboro Street. Damage to Saratoga Street was limited to the exterior of the building, but the fire had spread to the second floor and attic of 1018 Whitesboro. According to Utica Fire Chief Scott Ingersoll, while inside, firefighters found unsafe conditions with multiple holes in the floor in both the first and second floor of the vacant building without power. There were no injuries as a result of the blaze, and it does appear to have been accidental. Syracuse native Post Malone is going to be back in the international spotlight before Super Bowl 58 in Las Vegas. He's been picked to perform America the Beautiful ahead of the big game at Allegiant Stadium on February 11th. Variety magazine also reports Reba McEntire will sing the national anthem. The NFL previously revealed the halftime show will be a concert by Usher. And in just 2 days, it is going to cost Americans more money to send letters in the mail. That is because on Sunday, the U.S. Postal Service will increase the cost of a first-class Forever stamp from the current 66 cents to 68 cents. I'm glad I got a roll of 100 earlier this month. Plus, the price of domestic postcard stamps will also rise from 51 cents to 53 cents, and stamps for international postcards will go up a nickel to $1.55. The Postal Service says these increases will help provide much-needed revenue. It is 8:06. Your weather forecast is according to Eyewitness News Chief Meteorologist Craig Flint, brought to you by Adirondack Home Furniture.
I'm Eyewitness News Chief Meteorologist Craig Flint in the WIBX Weather Center. Today, cloudy, light snow at times, mainly south of the Thruway, 1 to 3 inches for most, a high of 23. Tonight, light snow and lake effect snow at times, 1 to 2 additional inches, a low near 0. And tomorrow, blustery and frigid all day. Wind chills below 0, minor lake effect snow showers and flurries, a high of 14. For more on your local forecast, tune to Eyewitness News at 6 on WTR. I'm meteorologist Craig Flint on WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM.
Cloudy skies, 19 degrees. It is 8:07. Sports brought to you by local IBEW 43. Well, the big matchup of the weekend for most in the New York area, the Buffalo Bills taking on the Kansas City Chiefs. They'll renew their rivalry with a trip to the AFC Championship game on the line. The two teams are set to square off Sunday at Highmark Stadium in Orchard Park. The Bills have won 6 straight games, including a 20-17 road win over the Chiefs back on December 10th. However, Kansas City has eliminated Buffalo from the postseason twice in recent years. The start time for Sunday's contest is set for 6:30 p.m. Other games in the NFL divisional round. The 1 seed AFC Baltimore Ravens host rookie sensation C.J. Stroud and the Houston Texans. The nightcap features a showdown in Santa Clara, where the number 1 seed NFC San Francisco 49ers will try to slow down Jordan Love and my Green Bay Packers.
Any picks for this game?
I have to go with the obvious.
Going with the Packers. I think I am too. I like, and I got to tell you, even if, a lot of people are laughing at me when I say I think the Packers are going to win this game. But even if you don't want to go there, what's the line on this game, Davey?
9.5.
9.5. It was higher earlier in the week.
Yeah.
9.5. The fact that it's coming down. Wow.
Yeah. So
I would only say I like the Packers in this game. I think the Packers are red hot, and I don't think I almost feel like the 49ers peaked maybe 3 weeks ago.
Yeah. And now they've sat their starters. They had a bye week. They're going to be a little rusty.
And everybody thinks they're going to crush the Packers.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's definitely an exciting season it started off slow, and we were very worried. Yeah. Here we go. Here's the rebuild.
Well, look at what
we lost Aaron Rodgers.
Look at the life with the Buffalo Bills this year. It's been up and down. So
everybody's pulling for a Bills-Packers Super Bowl, and it may mean that I have to find another place to live afterward. But
nobody's pulling for it any more than me.
That's right.
And I got to tell you, as a Bills fan, the last team I would want to play is the Packers right now.
And the last team I'd want to play is the Bills.
Yeah, I feel like that's yet anything could happen this weekend. We'll see.
The fan bases travel well for both, so
yes, they do.
Would be a good one.
All right.
Also, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have been rejuvenated by Baker Mayfield. They're visiting Jared Goff's tough Detroit Lions, and that will round out the NFL divisional round. It's definitely going to be an exciting weekend of games. That is for sure. Really quickly, the Syracuse basketball team, they've won 2 of their last 3. The 12-5 Orange will host Miami tomorrow at noon, high noon, as Smitty reminded me. That will be on ESPN. We also want to let you know that the Utica men's Pioneers, due to inclement weather, had to make some scheduling changes due to their opponents dealing with some inclement weather. The game that was slated for tonight at the Nexus Center has been moved to 12:30 p.m. on Sunday at the Nexus Center. All tickets purchased for the originally scheduled game will be valid on Sunday. Saturday's puck drop has been moved from 7 to 6 p.m. at the Adirondack Bank Center. Utica Comets will be on home ice tonight. They'll be taking on the Rochester Americans. Puck drop at 7. They'll be in Syracuse to play the Crunch tomorrow night at 7 p.m. And the Utica City FC, or the Utica City Riggies, as they're being dubbed for the game on Sunday, they'll be back on their home turf to play the Texas Outlaws, coming off a 2-game winning streak, hopefully extending that to 3. They'll play Texas at 3:05 p.m. from the Adirondack Bank Center on Sunday. Bill, I got to tell you, pain is a problem for many people, especially in our area. Winter can make it worse, whether you're dealing with back pain, knee pain, elbow pain. Stop going to get those injections. Maybe you want to put off the surgery until you talk to Dr. Tim Delmedico with Revive Softwave Therapy on Genesee Street in Utica. This groundbreaking therapy is a game changer. It's non-invasive, free from pills, injections, and downtime. You can get back to regular activity after this treatment. It's so effective, it's even used by NFL teams, the Cleveland Clinic, and the Mayo Clinic. It's a technology that's cutting edge, that was developed in Germany, and it's made its way to Utica. And it isn't limited to common pain areas. It's also addressing neuropathy, plantar fasciitis, carpal tunnel syndrome, and more. It's swift and boasts an outstanding 90% success rate. It works by using high-speed sound waves that stimulate blood flow and stem cells to the affected area, which promotes your body's natural healing. So if you've exhausted all other options, pain is just debilitating, and you can't get rid of it, and you've tried everything else, try Revive Soft Wave Therapy. Don't let pain dictate your life when there's a solution available. You can see videos, testimonials, and get more information on the treatment at reviveutica.com. That's reviveutica.com. Or you can call Dr. Tim Delmedico at 315-725-8427. Take that step towards a pain-free future today.
John in Bridgewater, going for the money. I don't watch football. I get my stuff from you guys. And Scott in Kirkville, I don't care who wins, just as long as it's not the Buffalo Bills.
So, if I'm not mistaken,
John hates the Bills.
He was a Bills fan, but all those years of disappointment through the 4 Super Bowls.
Is that what happened, Davey? It was like 4 Super Bowls, and that's it. I've had enough.
And then he burned all his stuff and gave up on him.
Why do we still stick with him, Davey?
Die-hard fans, Bill. Die-hard fans.
Okay,
I've been a fan since 1988.
88. Yeah.
That's impressive.
I will tell you that as a child, and I was a child. I think I liked I think I liked the Bills because it was my name. Like when I was like 2 or 3 years old, it's like I like the Bills.
Well, it's interesting why people become fans of certain teams. Like for instance, everyone asks me, "Why are you a Green Bay fan?" I've only ever been once. I've been to Lambeau one time.
And you own part of you.
And
bought into that.
Yeah, I bought part of the stock,
which cost you how much?
$350.
$350.
So,
and you get what for that?
You get to go to the regular shareholders meeting, and you get a nice certificate.
Have you ever been to the shareholders meeting?
I have not, but my mom, I also got her as a Christmas present a share. So one of these times we'll go.
How many go to a shareholders meeting?
Oh, a lot. It's like it's basically a big party
in the stadium
at
or
the
something.
Stadium during the off season.
Okay.
You know.
All right.
But the point is, people say, "Why are you such a Green Bay fan?" So my grandfather was a big. He was originally from Ohio.
Okay.
But he was a big Vince Lombardi fan. So growing up, I always thought my grandfather loved Vince Lombardi, and Brett Favre was big. He wore the number 4. That was my favorite number. I like Brett Favre. So a few years back, my uncle said, "Why are you such a big Green Bay fan?" I said, "Well, because Grandpa was a
yeah.
He wasn't a Packers fan. He was a Browns fan." So I dodged the biggest bullet.
Through misunderstanding, you become a Packers fan.
I became a Packers fan. And I dodged the big Browns bullet.
This is John in New Hartford. Would this be considered price fixing? I don't know what that is. I'll get into that. On the violence, this is Jay in Utica. It would be nice to reintroduce local programs such as the Scared Straight program.
Mm-hmm.
They did not have a high success rate, but it can keep one kid, if it could keep one kid from killing another, it would be worth saving some families the tragedy. I almost feel like that Scared Straight program did work really well, but maybe it didn't. I guess I don't know.
Lance and Lee, I get kind of what he's saying here, but at the same time, so he's saying a bunch of old white guys in a room trying to solve teen minority violence seems like a good way to fix the problem. Now, that's funny. Well, what are we supposed to do, ignore it?
Yeah.
What is it? What are we supposed to say?
We should be thankful that they're treating this, whether it be the mayor or the county executive, they're treating this as a public health problem, because it is. And and these are the people in office. You bring them in, and I imagine ICANN, from what I understand, was involved. This group called Snug Utica was involved. You had other stakeholders in the community that got together to say, what do we do from a multi-prong approach? How do we fix this? And that's really what it's going to have to be. Now, Lance, to be honest with you, you would be complaining if they did nothing. You'd be like, isn't it great?
He's not doing anything.
Kids
he doesn't care.
Just to be fair, Lance, kids are being, shooting up each other, and, the county's doing nothing about it. Yeah. Okay, let me, coming up, this is very exciting, Paul Buckley, along with his animated brother, Stephen.
Pun intended.
Pun intended is coming. They're coming in studio. He has worked for all sorts on blockbuster movies as an animator. My dream. But I got to tell you something. An animator has creative. An animator today. It'll be interesting to see what his background is, because today, in order to learn the technology of the animation technology, it's very mathematical.
Well, and what's
very
interesting,
computer. You have to have a well-balanced education on computers. So I wonder where he fit in with all of that. If he started by drawing animation.
Actually,
we'll find
his
out.
start,
There's a lot to
his
talk
start actually has a local tie, and I'll let him tell a story, obviously.
We'll get
but
into
it's a good one.
River Hills Properties, the number one independent real estate agency in the region. Number two, if you include the big chains, it's all about the services provided. The extra things that are done from the start. The moment you decide we're going with River Hills, your stress level decreases. They go to work for you. And it's quite incredible. They provide every perspective, every buyer, possible buyer, with the book. It's done for each home. 40 to 100 pages filled with everything there is to know about the house. When improvements were made, when the furnace warranty is up, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It's all put into one book. It's kind of like the manual for the home, and if you buy the home, it's exactly what that becomes. Your listing agent is there, making sure the lights are on every single time the house is shown. If somebody has a question, your listing agent is there. If somebody's snooping through your medicine cabinet, your listing agent takes them out from the hip. I'm pretty sure.
Takes them out.
Boom! Down on the ground they go. It's River Hills Properties, doing whatever it takes to help you sell your property. Offices in Barneville, Little Falls, and Utica. Clotheslining is a little more. Is that you? More.
It's a much appropriate tactic.
Okay. Offices in Barneville, Little Falls, and Utica. Online, it's riverhillspropertiesllc.com. Call 315-896-1009. Nobody sells homes like River Hills Properties.
For a limited time at Mattress Express, qualified buyers will get 60 months to pay on any purchase $1,500 or higher with no money down. That includes all brands of mattresses in the store and massage chairs. See store for details.
Have you ever wanted to learn how to make jewelry? How about learning how to design animations or create pottery? This year, explore your future in art with Munson. Munson in downtown Utica offers courses for artists of all ages, interests, and abilities. They also feature art appreciation classes for people more interested in learning than creating. Classes for the winter-spring semester begin in January. So register now at munson.art. That's munson.art.
This station is brought to you by Tallman's Tire, located in Utica, Yorkville, Rome, and Herkimer, and online at tallmanstire.com.
Ready for a smoother, safer ride? Look to Tallman's Tire and Auto Repair, your trusted tire experts. Tallman's and their professional staff is there for answers, advice, and quality tires at a great price. And right now, Tallman's, when you purchase 4 Summit tires, you'll get installation, mounting, and balancing absolutely free. Summit tires are great quality and your best value in Central New York. And free installation when you purchase 4 tires is an amazing deal. Don't miss out. This offer ends January 31st, 2024. Visit Tallman's Tire and Auto Repair in Utica, Yorkville, Rome, and Herkimer. Online at tallmanstire.com.
Stanley Theater presents Standards and Stories with Tony Danza, April 6, 2024 at 7:30 p.m. Tony Danza and his 4-piece band are making their debut at the Stanley Theater with their hit live show Standards and Stories on Saturday, April 6 at 7:30 p.m. The hit live show has entertained audiences around the country, with the New York Times raving, Tony's a live wire who tap dances, plays the ukulele, tells stories, and radiates irresistible charm. The New York Times reviewed, he excludes the kind of charisma that can't be taught. Tickets on sale now through Ticketmaster.
At MVHS, our team members fell in love with care long ago. Their lives were changed, and their world has been expanding ever since. In respect, compassion, knowledge, and ability. And it's only just begun. Because fueling the future of care starts here at the Wynn Hospital. Local care on a whole new level. The Wynn Hospital. Unwavering commitment and compassion. Learn more at mvhealthsystem.org. This is for you. The first steps taken in the Wynn Hospital are the first steps of a care experience that stands apart. One where compassion can always be found, where teams are trained to serve you well, and where cutting-edge technology is always at the ready. Because here, you not only receive state-of-the-art care, you have a distinctive care experience, one that is all about your comfort in a healing environment. Welcome to the Wynn Hospital.
We all make resolutions this time of year, and let's face it, most of them won't stick. But here's one that's not only easy to keep, but will help you feel healthier all year long. Navage. Navage provides quick, drug-free nasal relief by washing saline in one nostril, around the back of the nose, and out of the other nostril. This time of year, when everyone is sick, Navage helps by sucking out germs, bacteria, and viruses trapped in our noses that cause us to feel miserable. And come allergy season, it does the same with dust, pollen, and other allergens. And unlike medications that can take time to help, if they're effective at all, Navage helps treat congestion symptoms in seconds flat, without drugs. This New Year's, resolve to use drug-free Navage to help you breathe easier, sleep better, and feel healthier all year long. Ask for Navage at Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, Rite Aid, Target, or find us online at Navage.com. Navage, N-A-V-A-G-E. Clean nose, healthy life.
Staples has big savings on everything you need for back to school or stocking up the office. Save on signs, banners, and posters from Staples Print and Marketing Services. Save on everything you need for travel, like luggage, tech, and travel-sized personal items. Plus, save on all your school essentials, from notebooks to markers. Now at Staples, you can save even more with $20 back in rewards on your in-store purchase of $50 or more. Get everything for the office and the classroom for less at Staples. Ends 8/19. Redeemable in-store only. Rewards members only.
Why get an updated COVID vaccine? If you're 65 or older, a COVID vaccine can keep you out of the hospital. And if you have heart disease, a COVID vaccine can help you stay healthy. With COPD or other lung diseases, getting a COVID vaccine can keep you off a ventilator. Anyone can get severely ill from COVID. But some people are more at risk. Know your risk and make sure you're up to date on your COVID vaccine. A message from the New York State Health Department.
A lot of Kanoi's energy started to bounce back.
She has a lot of puppy moments, and she'll be 14 this summer.
What did these dog parents do for their dogs? They switched to Nature's Blend, a premium freeze-dried raw dog food made by Dr. Marty Goldstein, a veterinarian Forbes magazine called the Miracle Worker. It's the easiest way to support your dog's easy digestion, nourished skin, playful energy, and most importantly, their healthy, full life.
I'm so confident your dog will love it. Your order is backed with a 90-day guarantee.
Save up to 54% off Nature's Blend and get a free full-size bag of Tilly's Treasures dog treats. They're best-selling beef liver dog treats while supplies last. Go to drmartypets.com/deal or text DEAL to 511-511. Go to drmartypets.com/deal or shop in over 2,000 stores nationwide. Use the store locator to find the store closest to you. All pets are unique. Your pet's results can and will vary. Message and data rates may apply. Studies available upon request.
WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM. This is Keeler.
All right, so I want you to tell Bob Schrader we're probably going to be 8:50, Davey. Because we're bringing in studio right now.
A legend.
Something I'm really, really very excited about, and it's not Paul Buckley. But it turns out it's his brother, Stephen. And Stephen, good morning.
Morning.
Paul, good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for having us.
I'll have you do the introduction, because you're a very proud brother here.
I am. I'm extremely proud of Stephen. Stephen started way back when doing claymation and started off, and I thought it's very time-consuming, but he was very good with the ceramics and stuff like that. Mom sent both of us to the Munson Williams, and I sucked at everything but photography. And Stephen did the same thing, but he did clay, so he got started claymation, and then his world just blew up. He went to I'll let him tell you about it. I mean, I'm very proud of how he came about doing an animator. I mean, and
so
you can't teach this stuff.
It all started with a story about the last dinosaur after the.
How do you know that?
Listen, Steven I'm a big fan of Steven's, going back from when I interned with Bill, and we had him in before.
The only.
I know I know Steven's story very well, so it's very exciting.
So if I can just put it all in general, just to put a little overview for everybody, Paul Buckley's brother, Steven, is a Hollywood animator.
Yes.
And especially for people like us, Andrew is on the creative side, theater, and I, of course, like you, Paul, do a lot of television and editing and all of that stuff, and being in the creative side of radio. We're junkies for what your brother does.
Right.
And
we're still artists. We're all artists.
And what your brother has become. And my first question to you earlier, and it'd be worth, I think, people hearing about, is it's confusing to me a little bit because the animators of today are not creative mind people. They're they're big in math. They're big into computers. Where creative minds create everything and they just make it happen. So my question to you was, seeing you got into this earlier, you were a creative guy long before
I was a
the
sculptor.
animation became technical.
Yeah, I was a sculptor. Paula and my mom, they got me involved with Munson Williams, and so my mother sold real estate, and she would be she wasn't punctual, so I would be down there sculpting dinosaurs and learning how to sculpt. So I loved clay. And then I thought, I think all the old sculptors of old would have liked to have their sculptures. Rodin would have liked to have the thinker get up and maybe walk around.
Right.
So that's the next level. After a sculpture, you're like, I should make this move. And so then I started doing claymation. So I did a claymation film in my apartment in Newport Beach. And Art Clokey, the Gumby and Pokey creator, saw it at the Roxy Film Festival in San Francisco. And so that's how I got hired to do Gumby and become the voice of Gumby.
Wow.
And I got to write for him and stuff. He was a great guy, a great friend.
Isn't it amazing how this world that we live in is, in life, in progress, in careers, in death, it only takes one split second. It takes one split second to drive into an intersection incorrectly. It takes one split second for someone to see your work, and all of a sudden what happens to you happens.
Yeah.
It's really incredible when you think about it.
A second is very, very powerful because on Nightmare Before Christmas, I was working a 12-hour day getting 1 second of footage of Jack, cracking the whip and flying the reindeer through the sky. I would get 24 frames a day, and I'd have to ramp down the lights and take the Variac readings the next day and ramp it up because the shots are going days. So when you're in dailies and you see your slate come up and it winds down, the Academy leader winds down to 2 and it beeps, you almost have a coronary. It's just so.
I can only
that was
imagine.
stop motion. Now they have little video things where you can see your stop motion.
Okay.
I call it the ego channel because all the animators keep heading 7 so they can see what they've animated.
Right.
But back in those days, we didn't know what we animated, if it was smooth or not. So it was very upsetting.
Yeah, that can. So you were waiting for the big reveal, and that took time to get to that.
And it's a room full of people drinking coffee in San Francisco at 8:30 in the morning, and they're all brilliant people, and you are there. You're on trial every day.
So since then, we'll talk about the technology a little bit because I'm very interested. But probably nobody else is. But I think they are interested in what else you have done. So since it all began way back then, what are some of the projects you've worked on, and what are you doing today and all of that?
Well, today, to talk about the industry, as you know, the writers went on strike. So did the actors. So that went on. They went on strike for 6 months. And that was very upsetting because I read this one thing where one producer said, we're going to wait till all of them have to sell their houses and give up. And I thought that was really, really hardball, that their attitude is like that. I thought that was very disheartening hearing that. So that did happen.
Yeah.
They all did sell their homes. And they all, being out of work for 6 months is very long. So it reached us. It finally reached us in Vancouver, British Columbia, where I was doing a Netflix film, a beautiful film called The Electric State. And it looks beautiful, and we had work on that.
And Vancouver, by the way, it's like Hollywood North these days.
Yes, it is. It's the California of Canada.
Yeah,
It's lovely there.
Yeah.
And they have tax incentives, so that's where all the animation is.
I see.
So, so now we are closed down until June. About June.
Wow.
Because our 6 months has now reached us.
So it's a ripple effect through the industry.
It is, because now they're all back. They're all back with their contracts.
Yeah.
And they're all doing voiceovers.
Yep.
So like Hank Azaria and all these people are doing their great voices. And then when they're done, we get them and we make the little characters
your delay
talk.
is just...
Our delay is just like their delay. So it's
Wow.
reached us now. And they're all back to work, and now we're off.
Okay, which is why you're here right now.
Yeah. I'm visiting. I'm visiting.
Might as well, right?
Yeah, I wanted to pick the warmest, sweetest time in Utica, which is January.
Great time, yes. I heard you in the green room. You were talking about eating a lot of sauce and pasta and.
There's a lot of marinara sauce, and my daughter came here for a funeral. We were spreading our sister's ashes. She said to me, "Daddy, why is there so much marinara sauce?" I said, "Allie, it's a big Italian town, and you just dip everything in it." She goes, "Even like hamburgers?" I go, "You might want some marinara on that."
So you put a little mozzarella cheese on there.
So we were pretty loud in the green room. No, so what I did was I did the claymation and Gumby, and then Tim Burton came to town and said, and hired everybody for Nightmare Before Christmas.
Yeah.
So we were doing stop motion in San Francisco, and that led to James and the Giant Peach, which was another stop motion film with live action. And then after that, stop motion started. It goes into it just won the Guillermo del Toro just won the Oscar for Pinocchio. So stop motion is still a viable thing.
Yeah.
But at that time, it was dying. And so CG, computer generation, was taking over.
Yep.
So Disney came to town and they trained us all to work on the computer. And that's the technical stuff where
And this is the stuff where you and I were talking about how, was it Lightwave was one of the early, I think that's what it was called, software that we fought to get. And of course, we got bootleg versions and all put them on our computers. You'd do something that was like 3 seconds long and it would take 24 hours to render. When I talk about rendering, basically the computer's doing its work in the background. In order to be able to hit play and watch it actually happen, it has to render. And sometimes that would take hours and hours. I can't imagine the stuff you were doing had to take forever.
They now have things called play blasts, where you do it and you only wait about 3 minutes.
Wow.
And you look at TikTok for a few things and you look at your thing, and then they'll render it overnight.
I see.
They'll put the drop shadows in.
I think Final Cut has something where you're looking at something that's a little lower quality. You don't get the full quality, but it plays.
You can see it.
Yeah, which is really
great.
cool.
So they have improved it immensely.
Yeah.
Well, and technology for the CGI animation has improved dramatically too. I mean, you look back at some of these old movies, and at the time you're like, "Wow, that's impressive," and then you go back and you look at what there is now compared to what there was then. Night and day difference.
I talked about the technical aspect of this. We had a guy who was a wizard. It never ended well, and he's passed away since. You remember Mario?
Yes.
So he was a wizard with his 3D computer, and he built this computer up on his own. He would do all this work for us, his animation work for us, that would look pretty cool when I had my TV show, if you remember.
Yes.
But it was never the way I wanted it. It's like, because he didn't have that creative mind. He had the technical mind.
He was able to do it.
I'm looking at it like, that looks terrible. It looks beautiful, but it looks terrible. It's not what we want. So in order to get what we wanted, it took time. What I find interesting is for you to go from that creative world to this technology that is now, it does seem it's getting better. It's getting more user friendly.
It's true, but you do get knocked around. I have a lot of friends coming in remotely and helping me find my plates. I never can find the plates. They're like, drop that plate in, get that plate of them, and I'm like, well, okay, where is that plate? And then you start to perspire because you're working from home, and you can get anxiety.
So do you do a lot of your work from home now?
It's all work from home. Yeah.
Okay.
I miss the office. Going in because the Zoom calls. The Zoom calls are very, very quick, and it's not really good interaction.
I don't know, Paul, if you know this, but there's a guy here locally who's working from home, does animation for TV shows. He's from New Hartford. I do not know his name, but I know of him.
Is it Joe Mandia?
Is Joe Mandia?
Well, he did the snot.
That's Mandia. That's Joe Mandia.
Is that his name?
He's a great guy. I worked with him out west.
The work he's doing, he's on all sorts of shows.
Well, he's amazing. He's an A-list guy.
And he's here in New Hartford.
Yeah. He moved back for love. I think he found his
he did.
soulmate back
but
here.
He was the mucus guy. He did the mucus.
He did the. If you see the Mucinex, the mucus commercial, where the
creature,
the animated mucus. That was created at his home in New Hartford.
Absolutely, yeah. I worked with him on, I think, I Am Legend with Will Smith at Sony.
Wow.
So I know him,
So some of the other stuff that you've worked on.
Yeah, huge films.
Well, the film that actually was the most surprising film that we thought was a Kickstarter project was the original Deadpool. So we got that film in, and no one knew who that director was. Some did, I didn't, and it just seemed like it was a very low budget film, and then it became the #1 R-rated film of all time, and now there's 3 of those things, So So that was a good one, and then the ones that got the most exposure were when I did Thanos. I did Thanos for Marvel, the bad guy, Josh Brolin.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, how you're burying the lead, Steven. I mean, you were responsible for one of the biggest characters in one of the biggest film franchises in all history.
Yeah, he still holds up. Yeah, I did Gollum and Schmeagol, like if he's singing at the forbidden pools with the fish. And it's funny because the technology was coming in. So mocap was coming in, so they were putting like mocap on his body. But the face, they hadn't figured out facial mocap yet.
Uh-huh.
And the longer you stay in the industry, if you're younger, the less animation you do. So
Interesting.
like when we finished Nightmare Before Christmas, in '93, we were all feeling pretty artistic.
Yeah,
pretty like,
yeah.
you know, hey, we just did some magic.
No
but then
doubt.
a week later, Jurassic Park came out, and we saw the T-Rex foot come down and splay in the rain, and we thought, we're done. So that was really kind of like AI, like motion capture. That's really been coming into us for a long time.
It's amazing, and I will get to AI in a second, but what is amazing is when you can go to, and this started really back with Pixar, right?
Yeah.
Where when you can go into a theater and you're tearing up over an animation. And I get it, Bambi probably started that whole thing many, many years ago, but to see the facial expressions and to see the deep character,
The emotion.
Empathy is key.
Empathy
Yep.
in animation
I know.
is incredible.
I cried when I was watching Toy Story 2. I didn't work on that. But when the little girl got older and her little toy got kicked under the bed and she started to be on the phone with nail polish because I thought of my daughter.
Yeah.
And so I started to cry, and I was with a buddy who said, "Keep your chin up, man." I was like, dude, let me have a tear.
Well, Disney Pixar, they are notorious for that. I mean, and,
Yeah.
and they start off the movie right with a kick in, and you know what? I mean,
Yeah.
whether it was that movie Up
Yeah.
with the old man and the eminent
the
domain.
savings breaking the jar. That
and-
was
oh
so.
my
Yeah,
gosh.
they really do. They're big on empathy.
Yeah,
They're big on empathy. Is that's what they've got going for them.
You know, there are humans that don't have any empathy. So
I
we
know a
know
lot
what
of them.
the lack of empathy can look like, and to have that in animation, wow, it's just
Let me just
amazing.
interrupt now. Stephen also, he's in New Zealand doing all the trilogy of the Rings. He also had
Lord
a little,
of the Rings, right.
Yes.
Wow.
He also had a little cameo in King Kong. He was the
I
cab,
remember, yeah.
He was the cab driver when Adrian Brody got on the cab. And Stephen has a little bit of a cameo there, and it's funny.
Wow.
Yeah, I got my SAG card doing that. It was so funny. I got on the set and I was so nervous because I know Pete, because
Yeah.
we raised kids together. And so there were no New Yorkers in New Zealand, and the Kiwi accent for the New Yorkers was. So I got the role as the cab driver, and when I got there on the set, Pete walks up to me and he goes, "And what's your line?" So my line was, "It's all yours, buddy." But I was so petrified that I just looked at him and went, "Yeah." and he luckily, and he lowered his glasses, and luckily Adrian Brody came over and said, "Oh, his line, it's all yours, buddy," because Adrian knows everyone's lines. You know?
Right.
So I was like, "Oh, you mean my line?" So it wasn't even acting. I was supposed to be scared. I was petrified.
It's unbelievable. And by the way, Adrian Brody
got a place
who has a
close
place
by.
in Sylvan Beach.
He's great.
And he did the movie Clean here in town.
Yeah.
Yes, right.
He's a legend. He saved me. He knew everyone's lines. He's a real. He's a
That's
real pro.
really awesome.
He's a real pro. He knew my line.
To be able to do that, that's quite an amazing talent.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So-
I mean, acting. The thing about acting is people love acting. They want to act, but it's a lot of work. It's training. I did a lot of auditions for commercials, and I'm like 0 for 100 because I didn't take the classes. You got to learn how to audition, where to look. It's an art. It's a real.
really is. Yeah.
It's like writing. You got to get good at it.
Yeah. Speaking right now, Paul Buckley in studio with his brother, Stephen, who is an animator and has done so much that would blow your mind. Paul, you are. I got to say that.
Here we go.
What is very this is
The film commissioner.
This is actually nice, Commish. You are a glowingly proud brother. And
I am.
I am. That is a wonderful attribute because
Well, he got me started.
Is that true?
Yeah, he used to teach me how to draw. He would come in and teach me how to draw like the fist. He said, have the thumb come over the top, because I was always drawing dinosaurs grabbing army men.
Right.
And he's an artist,
Yeah.
and a great photographer. And then he would
Yes.
always give me stuff like, if you learn anything in your life, learn these f-stops. Closing down, you depth of field, learn this. And so he would send me stuff. So it taught me camera work and rule of thirds. So he and my mom were my catalyst for my path.
That's
I'm flattered he says that. I'm flattered he says that. But he just went crazy, over the top. He went.
Yeah.
I'm very proud of him, and I'm happy for his success. And he did it. He's doing it.
Yeah.
And I'm very proud of him. Yes.
And I'm trying to do a live action film here because he's a film commissioner. We can get all the 70s locations.
That's always been a dream of ours together, is to make a movie together right here in Utica.
Wow.
So he's scouting locations. I'm showing locations today to yet another film that's coming to town, possibly in February. As we get done here, I've got to show them some locations in town. So it never sleeps. I haven't been to City. I've been to City Hall like once this month. I haven't even seen the new mayor yet.
Can I say that this movie
We haven't either.
This movie is being made right now.
The Christmas Letter.
I feel like this has some legs to it.
It will have some legs, and
Yeah.
they're doing a hell of a job. I mean, these guys. Speaking of Kiwis, there's a lot of Kiwis on the set, and in the executive office. So it's very well done. I'm very impressed. We used the Stanley's green screen yesterday or the other day, and I was just blown away by that. It's just fantastic, and hopefully. It's a tax credit stage, so we'll be able to get more films in here, draw more people in here.
Yeah,
and I'm looking forward to that. And it's going to blow up.
How's the experience been with Chevy? Brian?
Well, he's
Doyle
not here yet. He's not.
Oh, he's not been
Brian
here
Doyle
yet.
Murray was awesome.
Can I just tell you?
Yeah.
We did my friend Chris and I did some searching, and we went through dozens of numbers, and I finally got someone to answer, and I'm pretty sure it was his wife, and she texted me back. First question is always, how did you get, I'm talking about Brian Doyle Murray. First question is, how did you get this number? Right. My answer is always, you don't have to worry. I'm going to be very respectful with it. I won't do anything with it, but we really need to get Brian Doyle on tomorrow morning. And
did it work?
She said the way to go through this, you have to follow proper channels. So she gave me the agent's information. I went to the agent, and it died right there.
Yeah.
So the me of old would have been like, okay, you're getting the calls tomorrow morning.
Yep.
Today, I am
a little more
much more gentle and respectful, so I just dropped it.
I snuck into his. They had an RV there for him, for
Yes,
big episodes.
yeah.
So I snuck into it with my camera, and he comes out of the bedroom, and I go, "Would you please do the Blue Sox song for me?" So he sat down and sang it for me, and I got out. So that'll be on the show.
That'll be cool.
That's cool.
And I got to say that that's what I had said. We want to talk to him about the Blue Sox.
Yeah.
So
he and I had a brief conversation, and then he was breaking my chops during the I was documenting everything on video.
Yeah.
And so I'm there and I'm yawning, a big yawn, and he goes, "What's the matter there, Paul? Is Geritol wearing off?"
How about Randy Quaid? Has he been here yet?
Not yet. I haven't seen him yet, and I don't know when Chevy gets to town, but it's going to be soon because I think we're filming the New Year's Eve thing. I think on Sunday. I'm not sure.
Listen, I'm only hoping Randy Quaid comes to town and there's some alien situation and it ends up hitting TMZ. It'll be great.
He will be the second weirdest guy to come to Utica next to Gallagher. So
Gallagher.
Yeah.
Do you ever have any dealings with Gallagher at all?
No,
Stephen?
You mean that comedian that did props?
Yeah.
No.
Listen, he came to town. We brought him in for an event, and he wouldn't leave.
He wouldn't leave. He
stayed here for 3 months.
He took over sales meetings.
I spent Christmas dinner with him one night. I mean, it was just the oddest.
He became a real pain to
he was
Is
tough.
he still alive?
No, he's passed away last year, I believe. So. Okay, Stephen, you've done all of these great things, animation and movies. Oftentimes, people wouldn't even realize. I want you to know I do. In the theater, stay right till the end, and I'm always looking for your name.
You're old school. I brought my dad to Lord of the Rings, and the credits were so long, and then they closed the curtains, and he turned to me, "Baby, I believe that you worked on it."
That's awesome.
So now that it's very. As time goes on, the names come out in a paragraph. It's not very special. Like on Nightmare Before Christmas, we came right up.
Right.
But now it's in a paragraph after Best Boy and
because there's so many
after the cater. Yeah, there's so many thousands of people that work on the film, and they.
So what's interesting too is you talked about one of your latest projects is streaming. I mean, there's got to be so much more opportunity and probably a lot of projects with everybody just trying to get as much as they can to fill the content on a Netflix or
Well, I think we're going to be slammed come spring because now they're all doing the reshoots and the pickup shots, and so we will be destroyed come daylight savings. Until then, it's a long January and it's Valentine's Day and it's just stay calm.
And you've kept, you've made sure you padded the bank account so all is good.
It feels really good spending your 401k, but
that's right.
It's good that we got them.
That's why he's here in Utica because $1 is like 10.
It's cheap
anywhere else.
here. You're right. It's like going
in
to
California,
Canada.
You're dropping like $300 a day just having quesadillas, and here in Utica you can
eat
really
for
rock
that $300.
You
could
can have
take you the
marinara
week.
sauce for a month.
That's right. On your burger and everything. And then, what's for you in particular? What's next? What do you want to do next? What do you?
I've got a script, and it's set in 1978 in Utica, and I want it to be a comedy horror because I love the fall, plaid shirts, apple cider, and horror films.
Yeah,
I love that.
Cool.
We used to go to the Calit Cinema, and I love the fall. I love the fall for horror films.
Yeah,
I don't know why they're on Christmas Day, but I like October. I like September and October films.
Yes,
I do too. I've written a script, and I'm working on it now at my sister's house in Clinton, and it's funny and it's got some terror.
Okay.
So that's my thing, and I want with the film commissioner. I want to come here. I didn't realize it before when I was working in Hollywood. I always thought you had to make a short film. and have everyone see your short film.
Yeah.
But that is not necessarily the way to direct or write. You have to have a script. And you shop the script, and it's taken me many years to figure that out. It's the writers that rule.
Yeah.
So if you've got a script, even if they don't let you direct it and they muscle you out, you'll still get enough money to buy a home.
That's pretty cool.
Scripts.
That's what happened here with the Christmas letter. Michael Cunningham wrote the story.
From Ilion.
Sold it. Yeah, he was from Ilion. And he sold the story, and now they're in town making it. So it's just wonderful.
That's pretty wild.
And luckily, a lot of times they'll push you out and they'll have someone else direct it, because Quentin Tarantino wrote that great road film, True Romance, which is why that film was so good. And then Ridley Scott's brother Tony directed it. So that's all Quentin's dialogue, which is why it's so great. But I think he sold that script. I don't know what he sold it for, but that Quentin wrote that.
Wow!
And then when they saw what a great writer he was, they gave him carte blanche to do all this great, all these great
you're
films.
home free.
It's
although the pressure's still on, right? Every movie that's made, there's a lot of critics out there.
Oh
too.
yeah. Well, a lot of times when you see films that I'm working on, a lot of times we say, does this film need to be made? Do we need to be making a sequel?
Right.
A third?
I know.
And your answer is yes.
Well, you work so hard on them, and there's so much critique that when they don't do well, it's
it hits home.
Yeah, we've worked.
Then you have to throw in the prequel before the original hit, or do a remake of an old movie. I hate that.
No, that is true. Yeah.
What are your because I feel like today with streaming, there are, like, I watched Napoleon, and actually we only got about halfway through it because it was on a work night. It's long. The movie's long.
It is. I saw it.
But it's really amazing. How much of that is computer? I mean, these war scenes are, by the way, from what everybody says, historians say, the war scenes are incredibly accurate.
Yeah, well, that's Ridley Scott. He does not phone it in. I mean, he is the best. I think that the water CG, that was all CG horses.
Yeah.
When they blew up if you've got to that part, Napoleon trapped them all.
There's a part I bought the movie, so there's a part that shows you how they actually did that, and there were just little sections where there was water and it wasn't as icy as it seemed. The ice wasn't real and all of that. And then the CG came in to make it all look so amazingly real.
You can really tell CG fire. You can see CG fire. It's kind of transparent. You can tell. But everything, so many things are CG. Like Lord of the Rings, that's a lot of that shot in front of a blue screen. So Ian McKellen, like a legendary theater guy, wants to be acting with other people, but a lot of it's blue screen and fans.
Yeah,
and then when it will add the beautiful backgrounds with the wind and the eagles, but they're really just on a stage like at the Utica Odd.
Yeah, it's
behind
incredible.
A green screen, but they just make it look amazing. So all those horses are CG. All that stuff, because they don't want to hurt any horses.
The scene where the horse took the cannonball.
That's CG.
It was CG.
That was real. No, it was a horse that was slated to be slaughtered anyway.
They really killed that horse.
Well, maybe I'm assuming it's CG. Maybe they were making dog food. I don't know.
You just don't know.
I don't want to say.
But it did look so unbelievable. The realistic look of all of it is just so incredible.
Well, let me tell you something. They go through a lot of takes. When I was doing close-ups of Thanos talking, I was doing 150 versions of him delivering a line.
That's
like more lip pucker.
Wow.
More lip pucker.
Was
more
that James Brolin?
Yeah, Josh Brolin.
Yeah, okay.
It's Marcus Welby, MD's son.
Yes.
Oh, really?
And, that's his dad.
Did not know
who
that.
dates Babs.
That's so cool.
And so the people at Marvel are very brilliant.
Yeah.
And they because whenever I shoot out a scene, I'm pretty sure it's done.
Right.
I'm like, this is done. And then 100 versions later, it's done.
And you cannot. Paul and I both do commercials, so when we think it's done and we've got it perfect, somebody comes in and says, I think that should be green and not blue. It's like, come on.
There's a lot of.
But that's the world we live in, right?
It is. There's a lot of people that have a lot of good ideas, and you can't take it personally.
My rule, and you don't have the luxury of this, but we do, usually making local commercials and stuff. The rule is always keep the number of eyes that get on it to a minimum. The more eyes, the more changes. That's just the way it's. That's
very true. Unfortunately,
going to be.
With feature films, there's a lot of people.
Right, you can't control.
A lot of people chiming in, and they even change the voice actors a lot of times.
Wow.
Well, that's why I love City Limits. I'm the final cut.
That's right. Nobody. There are no
You're
other eyes.
avid director.
That's right.
There. Yeah.
Speaking with and wrapping it up now with Paul and his brother Stephen Buckley, who is an animator in Hollywood or in in Canada, Vancouver. Last thing I would ask you is kind of where I was going with Napoleon, and I feel like we are at such an amazing point where we all have, for $300 you get a large screen TV with high definition, 4K, 5, whatever it is today. You have the sound that you've created. I know it's not the theater, but the streaming content that is being created today is mind-blowing, I feel. Or do you disagree with that?
No, it is mind-boggling, and I love the theater. I love going and getting a popcorn and a Diet Coke. I go every night, every Tuesday to cheap movie night. And
you do? That's awesome.
Because I love films.
Yeah.
So I'm one of those old school guys that it can be digital, it can be film, but I like the movie theater. But people, it's getting so sweet that like the show like The Bear comes on.
The Bear.
And why leave the house if The Bear is on? And so I do think that people are going to be staying at home, but I hope the theaters don't go away.
I hope so too.
I do love them.
They do seem to be.
Experience.
Yeah.
We're at least we're moving a little bit more back to the theater this year. It seems.
Tom Cruise insisted that Top Gun be held back for the theater because he's a theater guy. You know, he wants it in the theater.
Yeah,
the chairs they have at the marquee.
It's unbelievable.
Oh my, you can fall asleep in those things.
Exactly.
It's too comfortable.
The
If you're leaning backwards, you can't eat popcorn and sip your drink.
Listen, if they go so far as to add vodka, I will definitely be sleeping.
Well, they got those drink holders. I mean, you put a garbage can in there.
You can. There's no doubt.
Can I just make one closing?
Yes.
Listen, stop sending your emails to me, all right, with your auditions and stuff like that. We're done
for
doing
the movie.
That.
You're talking about
the
movie.
Yes, for the Christmas letter. No more emails for auditions, please.
And then, Stephen, I'd like to give you the opportunity here to talk about your brother. The reality is, it's a phenomenal that you have where you have gone and basically around the world doing what you're doing. It is hell to try to make it in a town like Utica, New York, and your brother has done that.
He's doing really well.
Yeah.
I think that his third act is really, really strong. I love.
I agree.
When I saw a picture of him and Ben Stiller. I didn't recognize Ben Stiller because he had a hat on and he's thin,
Yeah.
But and I go, who is that? And so like his third act is really, really soaring.
Yeah,
so I'm really, and he's made it in this town, which is not
no doubt
an
not
easy
easy.
Row.
Yeah.
No, and he's the film commissioner, so that's why I've got to get a feature here because he can shut off every road.
That's exactly
He's got the power.
He can shut down Louville.
Louville.
I'm shutting it down.
That's a big deal.
I've done Louville before.
Yeah, just do that in the summer.
Well,
definitely.
Utica's so beautiful. The homes here, the wooden floors. I mean, that's the thing. The weather these are the cold months, but the homes here.
And then you have the manufacturing that's gone away, leaving you these amazing shells to create whatever you want.
I know. I want Utica to boom, and I think it is.
Yeah,
I
agree.
It does look good.
Yeah.
Coming back.
Well, it's always a pleasure having you in, Stephen. Thank you.
Thanks for having both of us.
We appreciate it. And Paul, as always.
Love you, William.
You
know
just
that.
walk
Andrew.
in, don't even schedule.
Love you.
That's Paul. I'll do a quick break, and then we'll wrap. I want to talk about the water in Herkimer. Big issue they're dealing with. Tell Bob Schrader I'll be right with him. We're coming right back at WIBX.
Are you ready for a buying experience like no other? Head to Steve Ponte Chevrolet in Herkimer. They're bursting with inventory. Over 100 brand new Chevys on the lot. Check out the newly redesigned Chevy Trax or power through any terrain with their all-wheel drive Chevy Trailblazer or Chevy Equinox. Looking for something sturdy? Their lot is loaded with Chevy Silverados, the epitome of strength and reliability. And get $6,000 off or take advantage of interest rates as low as 1.9%. Steve Ponte Chevy. Find new roads with incredible savings. Visit them on Route 28 in Herkimer or at StevePonteChevy.com. See why it's always easy to do business at Steve Ponte Chevy.
$6,000 off 2024 LT or RST Silverado with 2.7-liter engine. Must currently own or lease 2010 or newer Chevy car or truck. $2,500 must trade in 2010 or newer car or truck to eligible model or 1.9% with qualifying credit through GM Financial. One tier, 36 months. Offer ends 1/31/24.
Ready for a smoother, safer ride? Look to Tallman's Tire and Auto Repair. Your trusted tire experts. Tallman's and their professional staff is there for answers. Advice and quality tires at a great price. And right now, Tallman's, when you purchase 4 Summit tires, you'll get installation, mounting, and balancing absolutely free. free. Summit tires are great quality and your best value in Central New York. And free installation when you purchase 4 tires is an amazing deal. Don't miss out. This offer ends January 31st, 2024. Visit Tallman's Tire and Auto Repair in Utica, Yorkville, Rome, and Herkimer. Online at tallmanstire.com.
Oneida County Department of Family and Community Services has immediate openings for program nurses starting at over $59,000. Nurses work a 35-hour work week, conducting patient screenings and home health assessments. And the civil service exam fee is waived for 2024. Apply now at oneidacountyjobs.com.
At Mattress Express, get a queen flex head bed with adjustable base and a set of sheets for $14.99. Qualified buyers get no money down and up to 60 months to pay. A flex head bed is where each head goes up and down independently, but it's still one solid mattress. See store for details.
What's holding you back from learning the language you've always wanted to know?
Too hard.
Takes too long.
Not with Babbel. Babbel's lessons take just 15 minutes a day.
15 minutes isn't long.
Nope, and they're fun.
Fun isn't hard.
Right. Babbel's interactive lessons, podcasts, games, and more make it fun and engaging, so you don't realize you're learning a language, but you are. And Babbel's lessons are built around real life. You can choose from topics like travel, business, relationships, and more. You'll learn what matters most to you. Plus, Babbel's lessons are designed to get you speaking right away. In 3 weeks, you're able to start having conversations.
Just 3 weeks? Even better.
Since Babbel's lessons are designed by language experts and voiced by real native speakers, you'll get the accents just right and be able to carry on conversations with confidence.
Learning a language with Babbel doesn't take long.
And with Babbel, it isn't hard.
It's perfect.
Start learning a new language today. Go to Babbel.com. That's Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
All right, it was a pleasure to speak with Paul and his brother Stephen. That was awesome, but unfortunately we're out of time. We'll deal with Bob Schrader on the water problem in Herkimer on Monday. I also want to tell you, in Herkimer at Waterfront Grill coming up a week from this Sunday, it's the conference championships. And Butler and Rocky Fiato put their own commercial together to promote the event, which happens at Waterfront Grill 1 week from Sunday. Here they are with their masterpiece.
Rocky, buddy, what's wrong? You look kind of down. Oh, I always get this way when the season's over. Don't worry about it. A lot of people get depressed when the Christmas season's over. Christmas? Humbug, I say. Christmas is just a way for other people to make money. I'm talking about the end of the football season. Oh, I'm sorry, Rock. So what can we do to cheer you up? Well, a party's always nice. You know, how about during the NFL championship games on Sunday, January 28th? Hey, that's a great idea. We could do it at the Waterfront Grill in Herkimer. We can invite our friends and have sponsors, have a buffet, music, drinks, prize drawings, and we could call it a tailgate party. Now you're getting me into the spirit of the season. We could charge $25 per person and donate all our proceeds to local charities. We can put the fun back into fundraising. Feeling better, Rock? I always do when I can give money away. In fact, I'm feeling so giddy, I'm buying everyone their first drink. God bless.
Oh, Lordy. What a masterpiece. What an event, though. The tailgate party is cool. It's sponsored by WIBX and Keeler in the Morning. It happens Sunday, January 28th, 1 till 5. $25 donation. Gets you your meal and your first drink free. It's a great way to shake off those post-holiday blues at Waterfront Grill, January 28th from 1 to 5 with Keeler in the Morning and WIBX.
From the Stanley Theater Studio, WIBX 950 Utica, Rome, W295DI Utica, Rome, your news, talk, and sports leader, a Town Square media station.
It's too much for Nikki Haley, CJ Papa, Fox News.
I know Nikki very well. She worked for me for a long time. She would not be able to handle that position. She would not be able to handle the onslaught.
That's the contention from Donald Trump, who understands the way to the Oval Office during his first TV interview since trouncing the competition earlier this week in Iowa. Fox's Alexis McAdams in Manchester.
A lot of action here on the ground with those candidates crossing the state, really trying to make a final push here. This comes as former President Donald Trump was on Fox telling voters they should not even look at Nikki Haley anymore. And as we know, one thing former President Trump doesn't do is mince words. And this isn't the first time we've heard this, right, from Trump. He's been focusing his attacks on Haley over the past several days, warning voters she's getting the support here from Democrats on the ground. Haley tells me yesterday she's feeling confident in her ground game in New Hampshire and believes America wants to move in a new direction and have a younger leader in the White House. And Haley says, hey, if Trump is so not worried about me, then why is he spending all this money against me?
Nikki Haley already canvassing the Granite State this morning. He has supporters serenading the GOP candidate at the Newfield Country Store. Haley turns 52 on Saturday. Meanwhile, the government won't shut down.
The bill, which continues federal government spending at current levels, passed despite strenuous objection from Texas Republican Congressman Chip Roy.
We continue to spend money we don't have, undermining our own national security and our own well-being, funding a bureaucracy that's at war with the people that we represent.
But Connecticut Democrat Representative Rosa DeLauro says it will keep the government operating beyond Friday's deadline.
While the appropriations committees in the House and Senate continue bipartisan negotiations on the final 2024 funding bills.
The bill extends government spending until March. In Washington, Jack Callahan, Fox News.
A healthy weight, more energy, and smooth, regular bowel movements. 3 things everyone strives for.
It's me, Chuck Norris. There's one really important thing we don't talk about enough: our health. Achy joints, digestive issues, weight gain, and fatigue. We're told these are normal signs of aging. So working with a team of health experts, we came up with Morning Kick.
Morning Kick is a revolutionary formula combining 10 different supplements in one. Probiotics that help you lose weight, prebiotics for digestion, superfoods for muscles and joints, and several of the most powerful anti-aging supplements on earth. It'll help you feel youthful, energized, focused, and help manage stress.
Anybody can achieve great health regardless of their age.
Go to roundhouseprovisions.com. Use code SUPPORT or text SUPPORT to 511-511 and claim 40% off today.
Every purchase comes with our 90-day money-back guarantee.
Text SUPPORT to 511-511. Morning Kick. These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Tax fees may apply.
Individuals and businesses with tax problems, listen carefully. If you owe over $10,000 in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, U.S. Tax Shield can help you take back control. The IRS can seize your bank accounts, garnish your paycheck, close your business, and file criminal charges. Our team of tax attorneys can stop collections and get you protected. U.S. Tax Shield offers a price protection guaranteed quote to get you protected today. U.S. Tax Shield is A+ rated with the BBB, so call 800-466-9625. U.S. Tax Shield, 800-466-9625.
Why get an updated COVID vaccine? If you're 65 or older, a COVID vaccine can keep you out of the hospital. And if you have heart disease, a COVID vaccine can help you stay healthy. With COPD or other lung diseases, getting a COVID vaccine can keep you off a ventilator. Anyone can get severely ill from COVID. But some people are more at risk. Know your risk and make sure you're up to date on your COVID vaccine. A message from the New York State Health Department.
Investing involves risk, including possible loss of principal. Income may be subject to state, local, or alternative minimum tax. Did you know that municipal bonds are a way for investors